What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Wednesday. This is Infinite Talk with John Talks. Hello, how are you?
Hello, howdy.
Hi, how are you?
How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It's getting really hot here. Is it still cold over there in Michigan?
It's warming up a little bit, and we had, what was it, daylight savings time?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually lighter out now.
Oh, okay. I'm on Central Time again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was on Eastern. I was on your time zone until it switched.
Oh,
Then
okay.
I'm on Central again. I'm like, I'm already like.
So
I always
wait,
have to
is it
calculate.
11 or 9?
Right now it's 9.
I should know this. Okay.
Yeah. It's Central's 1 hour back.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Duh.
but I'm here. My neighbor's dog's outside barking away because that's what it does. But yeah. So hi everybody out there in the chat. Make sure you smash the like, share the stream. We are simulcasting on Rumble. It should be playing. I don't know if it is. Let me check. Let me double check here. See if Rumble's live. It should be. It should be live, but I don't know. I can't see it. Rumble's weird. Rumble is weird. Yep, we're good. We're live on Rumble as well. Hi Rumble people. Hi Rumblers. Good to see you. Good to see you. What's going on, Cliff Anderson? I see you. Let's go Rumble. Let's do it. We're doing it. We're doing live. Hey, Teresa is here. Hi, Teresa. Darren's in the house. Everybody's here. We got so much to talk about. How's your month been? I haven't talked to you for like a while. So since last month.
I feel like this whole year so far has just been a blur.
I know, right?
I mean, I don't know, like last year went by pretty quick too. So I mean, I do not live probably a normal or healthy lifestyle. So you know, my whole idea of what is I'm good. Like, I'm fine, but I'm good. Everything's fine here. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's freaking hot. Check out my shirt. I got this today.
Dope.
Don't you love it?
Yeah.
I thought you would. I got it from the boys section. 10 years old, baby. 10-year-old boys shirt. It's the best.
That's the thing. Like women could, you could shop men's clothes. I mean, that might be a little difficult. Might be a little bit, they might be a little bit baggy or big, but if that's what you're going for. But yeah, you're buying boys' clothes.
Men's like nerdy clothes are the best. We don't have good nerdy clothes and like the women's. It's always like Disney princesses or like just weird, just girly stuff like unicorns. It's like, nah, like I want a Jurassic Park shirt. Deranged Lunatic, aka GL for $1.99 says, "Good evening, Nina and John. Who let the dogs out?" My Mexican neighbors.
I just heard that
literally
song.
Going woof 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 as you were saying that. There it is.
Well, it's the song, right? Who let the dogs out? Yeah.
Yeah. Who let the dogs out? Woo, 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 who let the dogs out? That was a great song. That was my song. So let me ask you this: have you, by any chance, been following like the Gwyneth Paltrow like ski trial thing that's going on?
Not really. No, I haven't. I mean, I know of it, and that's the extent of it.
That's it. You haven't followed it at all. Oh my God.
No, what's going on? Is it a lot of courtroom drama?
Well, yeah, but like it's so ridiculous. It's like such a ridiculous story. I'm like, why is this a thing? Why is this a case?
Well, didn't she hit some guy?
Well, that's
the hit and run, right?
Well, that's the story, right? Because the story is, hold on, let's see. Oh my God, I just saw a headline that says Gwyneth Paltrow accuser apologizes for King Kong ski trial jab. I don't know what that means, but we're gonna find out because that's hilarious. Okay, hold on. Bird Up for $2 says, "I still have PTSD from hearing that song every day."
Yeah, that song was played, every sporting event probably?
Forever. Like it was.
It's like Seven Nation Army.
in
Except
every
I think I
retail
like
store.
Seven Nation Army.
Oh my God. So Gwyneth Paltrow, she's doing the trial because, well, basically the long story short, she got into a ski accident. She says the guy bumped into her. He says she bumped into him. And that's basically the story. She's claiming
Kind of her word against, or his word against hers, and vice versa, right?
yeah, and she
Yeah.
was claiming at first that she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sue for like $1." Not sue. Like I'm doing a symbolic thing because he's suing her, and at first he was suing her for like 300 million or
Oh my
no,
gosh.
not no,
How?
3 million or something. But then he
Okay.
brought it down to 300,000.
What?
Yeah, so because he just wants like his medical
Compensation?
bills and compensation
Okay.
and blah blah blah. But she's
What?
like,
Well, what? So how hurt was he?
very hurt. Hang on one second.
Sure.
John. Sorry.
Yeah. In the meantime, while Nina's out, I will attend to the chat because I have no idea in terms of what's going on with this Gwyneth Paltrow case. But I do want to say hello to Hose. Hey, what's up, Teresa? Good to see you. Grumpy Old Ninja. Superhero Movies says, I saw John Wick 4 today in 4DX. This time, it's just an insane movie. 4DX. So that's like 3D, but an extra D? Is that what 4DX is? An extra dimension, maybe?
I don't know what 40X means.
I mean, that's got to be one step beyond 3D. And then you add the X, and it's like what the, what the hell?
40X? What does that mean? Do they shoot you in the movie?
Yeah, you actually that would be a great skit. That I could see that being like a Key and Peele skit or something,
What?
like just an extremely dark
Yeah.
humor, where you're
Yeah,
just sitting,
Like they just come in there with BB
welcome
guns
to the
and start
ultimate
shooting.
viewing experience, like nothing you've ever seen before. And then by the end of the movie, everybody's like shot up, dead, bleeding, and
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, okay. He says 40X means that there's the theater's seats move, there's water spraying. Yeah. I mean, I'm into that, but that was just called 4D for me. It wasn't called the 40X. It was just called 4D.
There's extra.
There's an
extra
X now.
going. Yeah, like if there's well, the X is for the explicit like some of the adult scenes where, yeah.
XX.
Yeah, like there's an
X.
actual woman in the theater. So
I
during
wish-
the strip tease scene, there, she actually pops out of the
I
screen.
wish, that's one of the things that John Wick could use more of. Boobs.
TNA.
Yeah. Like that's the one thing that I feel like it's kind of missing a little bit, is like a little bit of just spicy like women, like yeah.
A little more sex appeal. Yeah.
We need a little bit of an XX going on in John Wick. Like that's the only thing that I felt like was a little bit missing, because I saw it. It was great. It was a great movie. But actually Jane Theory and I did a review on it on Sunday with Literature Devil. So everybody can check that out if you want to.
What's up, Jane? Good to see you. So you're saying, do they need like a Wick girl? Like there's like how there's like a Bond girl. They need to. Is there any female presence? I've never seen. I'm kind of ashamed to say, and I know the chat's gonna rain down fire on me, but I've never. Well, I take it back. I've seen like the first 40 minutes of the first John Wick film. And
first 40 minutes, how could you stop?
I mean, it was just Keanu Reeves just shooting people, like for quite some time.
Yeah, how would you stop? You didn't want to know if he kills the last bad guy or not?
I mean, I'm assuming he does. Well,
how would you know, John? There's 4 movies now. I mean, maybe he doesn't. And that's why there's 4 movies.
He finds out that there was some guy like in the 10th film, he's going to find out like his dog being killed was like some great conspiracy.
Yeah. Well,
like there was someone behind it. Like even it was more sinister than just some,
it was
robbery.
It was a psyop.
Yeah. And it
Oh
was
my
all
God.
meant to bring him out of the woodwork to become this,
Um,
great
Jane
assassin.
says, is John the type of guy who doesn't finish a game? I don't think he plays video games, Jane.
Yeah, I don't play video games. I
He
don't believe
doesn't
in them.
he doesn't play video games at all, which he should. You should come play Conan.
I mean, me personally, I think at least this is my personal philosophy, and everybody, of course, is free to disagree with me. But I mean, I think, at least for me, I mean, I think recreationally, video games are fine, like in moderation, but I do think they can be a colossal waste of time.
How dare
So,
you,
yeah.
sir? How dare you? Hang on.
I mean, again, that's just
How dare you?
I think my mom agrees with you because she was like so mad at me because I streamed like for 7 hours yesterday, Conan Exiles with Jane and a bunch of other people. And she was like, 7 hours, Nina? Are you serious? And I was like, don't judge me, mom. That's what video games are.
hey, everybody. To be fair, everybody's got their addictions.
How dare you? How dare
Hey,
you call it an addiction?
some
It's
people
not
are.
a substance.
How dare you?
I
I'm
mean,
joking. It is an addiction.
it can be.
It can.
I'm not saying it is. And again, I think in recreation, I think in moderation, like I'm not 100% against video games or anything, but I do think they're probably not helping us overall, as well as social media, as well as, it's not just video games. But again, the video games aren't the problem. It's our ability to control
It's the underlying issue. Like
our,
always.
yeah.
Like always. Magnum Norse for 5 says, fell asleep to John murdering people, but apparently it was a revelation.
Maybe
Like
it was
the-
only in a video game, in a virtual reality.
Oh my god. Is it weird that I want a John Wick video game? I want a Max Payne style video game so I can play even more. Jane Theory says, but playing games is a second income for some people now.
Well, no, and that is, I don't think that's obviously you're getting something else out of it. It can be a job. So, kudos to, people who find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I remember when parents used to tell their kids, like, stop playing that video games. You're never going to make money on those. And now, well,
it was just stop playing the
whole
video
industry.
games. Yeah. Well, now it's like there's the possibility of it, but still parents are like, like,
don't waste your time.
Yeah. And
go
really,
to women's studies instead. Like, because that's going to get you a way better job. Jesus Christ. Okay, back to the Gwyneth Paltrow trial, which is ridiculous. So basically, it's her word against his. She's saying he bumped into me. He came up right behind me. She's like, okay, wait, you know what? Let me find some clips of this trial because it's actually really funny. Let's see. The way she basically said that she was Me Too'd while
she got rammed from behind.
Yeah, oh my god, and there's so many innuendos, John. Like when you're listening to these people talk on the trial, I'm like, I feel like if Michael Scott was there, I'd be like, that's what she said, like every 5 seconds. It's just mental. Hold on.
Nina's like shouting at the screen.
Screen. That's what she said. Oh my god, hold on. Let's see if there's any good, what's it called? Let's see. There's one where she okay, first of all, the lawyer chick, she's crazy. She's like, let's reenact the trial, Gwyneth. And she's so starstruck with Gwyneth Paltrow. And I'm like, why is this chick his lawyer? It's actually crazy. Hold on, let's see. I found one. Okay, here. Okay, I got a good one. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. This is when she was testifying. Okay, so this chick is his lawyer.
I didn't know if it was an intentional assault of a sexual nature.
Right.
Okay. Was he
Where did that ski
being
go?
thrusting or something, or just the noises? What made you think it was a sexual assault?
So that was a quick thought that went through my head when I was trying to reconcile what was happening. I was skiing and two skis came between my skis, forcing my legs apart. And then there was a body pressing against me. And there was a very strange grunting noise. So my brain was trying to make sense of what was happening. I thought, is this a practical joke? Is someone like doing something perverted? This is really, really strange. My mind was going very, very quickly and I was trying to ascertain what was happening.
Okay. I think you said you didn't know if it was an accident.
Oh my God.
Jeez. I almost felt like she was just trying to keep a straight face after saying that.
She's trying to keep a straight face the entire trial. Like it's not like this.
She's an actress, so she's got an advantage over, if you think about it, like if you're a professional actor or actress, I mean, if you're on the stand, you're going to be more convincing than anybody,
Totally.
And plus, yeah,
I have questions, and this is why I wanted to ask you, because I'm like, I've listened to some of the trial, I've listened to both sides, and I still have questions, but I picked a side. But I was wondering, like, who you think is more likely. Now, let me play the rest of this clip, and then we'll.
I would have to watch. I would have to watch the trial.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, there is no way that's happening.
Hold on.
Was an accident, but he was groaning and grunting in a very disturbing way.
Yes, there was a sort of groan coming out of his mouth.
Okay. Then you said, I froze.
Yes.
We kept skiing.
Right.
We went to the right.
Yes.
We came crashing down together.
That's right.
Okay. You said this man was behind me on the mountain. My knee and our skis were still sort of tangled up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Is that yes?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Our bodies were almost spooning, and I moved away quickly.
Yes.
And my knee splayed open, and I was completely in shock.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop
She was smiling.
Oh my God. It's so good. And this isn't even the best part. So I watched her whole thing that she did, and this was hilarious. But there was this part where this lady, this other lady, she's trying to, first of all, she's like a huge fan of Gwyneth Paltrow. She's like all starstruck. She's like, oh my God. And she makes like the most inappropriate jokes. And then like Gwyneth Paltrow's like, and I'm like, you're making her look good. Like that is not your job. You're not supposed to do that. Magnum Norse for a member message says Hollywood makes you simple. Apparently this is true. And she goes, like, after Gwyneth Paltrow tells the story, she's like, can we reenact this thing that happened, like this incident? And can you come down here and reenact it? And Gwyneth Paltrow's just like, she's about to be like, how about no? Like, she's like,
yeah, did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
You want me to reenact?
Yeah. And she's like, well, like, we just need to figure out exactly what you're talking about. So let's reenact this. And so Gwyneth's lawyers are like, objection, like no. And so they go to the judge. They have a little side conference or whatever. And the judge is like, no, like that's not happening. And then so she's like, okay, well, since you won't let me reenact, or like, since you won't let that happen, I'll just reenact it myself. And she's like, I'll play both parts. And she begins to play both parts.
Well, it's just like an episode of The Office. Like
yes,
it's the
most mental shit. And
I
then
could see Michael Scott doing something like that.
Oh my God, it was so funny. And then so Law and Crime's video, by the way, like didn't pan into her. So they're like, because she's like, so she starts doing it, and Gwyneth Paltrow's like, I can't see what you're doing, and she's like going like this, trying to see what she's doing. She's like, so was his feet like this? And then she's like, I can't see what you're doing. And then so this chick goes to the judge, and she's like, she's like, can she at least come down here so that she can see what I'm doing? And he goes, no, but you can go over there and then see what she's doing. So then she goes around and she starts doing it in front of Gwyneth. And like Law and Crime does not show, they're not showing it. But then they just pan the camera into Gwyneth's face, and Gwyneth's just trying not to laugh the whole time. It was so freaking
I mean,
bad.
I wonder what really happened here. You know, like
It was so bad.
this whole trial seems like I'm surprised the guy didn't try to settle out of court, or did he?
See, that's the thing, right? That's what I don't think he did. I don't think he did. And that's the part that I'm kind of like, what the frig? Because there's
Well, at
just so
first he was trying to get a lot of money.
yes, but then he decided, you know what? I don't want that much money. I just want,
Was this during the trial he switched gears, or
I think right before.
okay?
And so, right, like, so what happened though was that there was another famous scene in the trial where her lawyer holds up like a dollar bill, and he's like, she just wants, this is a symbolic thing of a dollar, and he's just let me see if I can find this clip. But then the lawyer actually did a good job and was like, well, it's not technically just for a dollar, because she's suing for all of her attorney's fees to be reimbursed as well. So
Sure.
it's the dollar plus your attorney's fees. So that the chick goes to Gwyneth and she goes, so if my client loses, he will have to reimburse you your attorney's fees, which could be up to hundreds of thousands of
man.
dollars, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, I guess so. It's possible. Like, it's just like the fucking funniest shit, because she's just trying to make it so that I'm just suing for a dollar. Like, everything's fine. It's just a dollar. The dollar is nothing. And it's like,
Dollar
nah, it's going
plus-
to be way more.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah. And then, oh
Um,
my God, there was another funny scene about did you see the clip where that was going around where she was like, I lost half a day of skiing. Did you see that one? Because I was
no,
dying.
I'm oblivious to most of this. Yeah.
Oh my God, hold on. Let me see. If I can
So
find it.
let me get this straight though. So
Mhm.
her story is that he ran into her,
Yes.
and then I'm assuming his story is that she ran into him.
Yes. And
he
all
just
of
he has
the-
the same story, but it's just reversed.
all of the, well, and then there's no grunting or sexual assault in his story.
Well, it's like if you're flying at that rate of speed, do you even have somebody? Can you even tell if somebody's? I mean, I assume it's not a grunt; it's a oh shit.
It's
You know,
a,
it's just,
"Ow,
oh fuck.
shit," or
you know?
fuck. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just poof, you know, like
Yeah.
it's not a grunt; it's poof, you know, it just.
Mm. She's suing for $1, Nina. The courts will determine how the legal fees are awarded. That's not true. That's not true. That's what the lawyer was getting at. John Edgar for $2 says, hi, Nina. I love that you're enjoying Conan. Conan's great. So much fun. Russell Hall for 2 says, how many goop candles do you think she owns? I don't think she owns one, to be
Reminds me
completely
of
honest with
Jan
you.
with her candle business.
Oh
I
my
never
God.
made that connection.
Yes,
but, yeah.
you're right. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me see if I can find her little woes me. I lost half a day of skiing.
Man, life is so tough. you
I know.
Some people have it so rough. I think she's probably guilty.
I think she's guilty too.
You know, like if I'd have to hear the whole trial, but if I
Oh.
had to guess, I think she should have just paid. Well, if the guy wanted an astronomical amount that was beyond, I mean, you know, it's if you're out of work or if you've got health issues or problems because of what has occurred, then she needs to compensate the guy. So if she's just trying to get out of not paying up, I mean, that's on
She's
her.
like, this is a symbolic thing because he's my he's basically taking advantage because he found out I'm a celebrity and he wants to be famous. Like that's the only thing.
And that very
like,
well could
that's
be
her-
true
that's her-
too.
That's her
Yeah.
thing. Which I think even if it is true, it's like, dude, just pay the guy out because he did get injured. Like there was an injury, and I think that she did bump into him, and that's why this whole thing makes no sense because she never stayed. She got some other proxy guy to like fill out her accident forms for her. She left the scene, so it
Got
was just
out
like,
real quick.
yeah, she didn't even like that. No one, there was no witness that saw the actual collision.
Yeah.
So the person who filled out her forms only saw the aftermath. Like they weren't in the actual collision. So for me, the idea that she claiming that she was the victim and goes as far as to say she was basically Me Too'd. And she
Right.
didn't stick around to say
She's like
this motherfucker. Like
I know
hit
that's
me.
the thing. That's where her story falls apart. Because if that happened to you, like if that happened to her, and if she like it was a sexually explicit encounter, which I don't even know how she could hear that if the guy is going downhill, runs into her.
Mhm.
And really too, how's he gonna wind up if there's a collision occurring? It's not like you have time to really hear any like grunting or really make out anything. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you get hit from behind at probably that rate of speed where you're both going over, and this guy's injured, like he's physically injured. Like it's not some guy that just came up to her and
Yeah.
it wasn't like it happened so fast. She wouldn't have known that.
No.
It's like
No. And she's like,
like,
it was a brief moment, and I hear grunting and blah blah blah.
you don't
His
even
story
have
is
time.
completely
You don't even
different.
have time to hear like you would probably hear the sound of the guy running like poof, but
Yeah.
it's not like he was like, like
And her, she's making it sound like he came up from behind with
yeah,
her
I mean, it's
skis,
like,
and then he's like, oh, and like it's just
I
like
mean,
grabbing her.
like the thing is, she would have been injured, I think, if her story was true. If this guy hit her the way it sounds,
Mhm.
I mean, again, if it's enough for him to be as hurt as he is, like it had to be a considerable amount of speed
Mhm.
involved. Either
Mhm.
way, whoever's story is true, and you're not going to have time to hear, the
The testimonies are very weird. Like the guy, like I watched his testimony. I watched both of theirs because I was curious to see what the hell's going on. But like he has some places that is like he makes no sense in certain aspects too. Like there's just certain things that parts of his story that doesn't make any sense either. And you're like, well, what? Like, why didn't you do this? Or like, how does that work? Or like, if you have no memory of this because he had a concussion and he claims that there's certain things that like is missing in his memories or whatever, then how would you know this? Or like, whatever. There's just certain things that don't add up in his story either. But also there's certain things that do add up in his story. And it's like he clearly was injured and he clearly is like reliving the experience and he's telling the story. So you're just kind of like the way his head moves and he's like, and then she went, or like that guy went by me, like he's like talking about the trainer that was there as well. Like, he's like, and the way his head moves and the way his body language is, like you can clearly tell that he's retelling the story in his mind. But like, and her story she just comes off as such a, basically just a bitch. Like that's what she comes off as, like to me anyway. Like if I was on the jury, I'd be like, you're a bitch. Like I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if he's
you're
lying
lying,
or not, but you're a bitch.
like that's the worst thing of it. Like had she did this, accidents happen. Like it's a very unfortunate thing. But I think lying about it and then making yourself the victim is pretty, like that's a pretty terrible thing. Like it's almost like it really is criminal to some degree. I mean, again, it's her word against his, and I think she knows that. And again, I don't know enough, and there's no footage, and so who knows what really happened. But she seems to have gotten out of this thing unscathed, like
literally
injury
unscathed.
free, so it's like
nothing happened to her. I'm like,
yeah.
well, I don't understand. Here,
If her story is true, and if this guy is coming down the hill and hits her, at enough rate, like a rate of speed for him to be injured, like she would have been freaking like flipping around in the air,
there's just so much. There's just so much. I can't wait to see what happens in the end, like the end of the trial. But the stories are just really funny. It's just a really funny
Is it
trial.
true that you feel it's unfair that Mr. Sanderson has brought this case against you?
I do.
And he has deterred you from enjoying the
face.
rest of what was a very expensive vacation.
Play that again,
Hold
Nina.
on.
Just
What?
play that. Just play her
Is it
face.
true that you feel it's unfair that Mr. Sanderson has brought this case against you?
I do.
And he has
That right
deterred you
there.
from enjoying the rest
That
of what
right
was
there.
a very expensive vacation.
Well, I lost half a day of skiing.
Uh-huh.
Dun dun
Right.
dun.
Look at her
And,
face.
I know, and
I
she-
mean,
think that's
Look, she's constantly
Dave
trying not to
skiing.
laugh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
okay. And I think that's what your counsel has argued as well, that you you had a full day pass, but you can only ski a half a day.
Yes,
I mean, she's a
went back down
multi-millionaire.
after lunch.
Nobody,
Right, and
nobody
that's
is
when you had lunch
shedding a
and you got a
damn tear
massage.
over that.
Yes.
And then she went to get a
I
massage.
lost half a day of skiing. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. This is funny to me. John and Nina have zero credit tonight. Look, he already said he hasn't seen a scene of the trial. He didn't even know about it. And I've watched both testimonies and I have my opinions on it. I don't understand why you think that, that I have no cred because I've only watched 2 testimonies. Hey, that's all the jury needs.
Here's the
Is
thing.
there-
If I'm a celebrity and I have somebody bringing, like, let's say she's the one who's right, and I have these accusations, like, you're a celebrity, you have these accusations brought against you.
Mhm.
You would be pissed that you have to go to court
Mhm.
over something that is not, you're being falsely accused of something, first of all, and now somebody wants to take your money. Like, this is not only a major inconvenience, but now it's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I would be pissed in that courtroom. You better believe there are not going to be any semblances of smiling involved.
Yeah.
And that to me just says, like, I just don't believe her.
Her body language is just very
Yeah.
different than his. And but then the one of the things of the body language though, which was funny, was like when he started to tell his story, the look on her face was like this look of bafflement, like, I can't believe your story is so different. So it was like as if she was like, but mind you, she's a trained actress. So I was like, I don't know if that's
That's what-
genuine or
yeah,
not,
I'm-
like, or if that's
I mean,
acting.
It would be a very strategic thing to do, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to, you want to play it up like you are.
Mhm,
You're the victim here,
mhm.
and you're surprised and shocked at this,
It's so
yeah. How
funny.
could somebody be so?
There's just
yeah.
so much funny. There's a lot of funny stuff to this. I want to watch more of it, but I wish there was more hours in the day. There is no video. There's no video evidence of the actual collision. They tried to find like somebody who has the video, or like people, because there's GoPros like skiing down the mountain all the time. But apparently this accident was not caught on camera, which is really weird. In this day and age, like, you would think that there would be some video evidence of someone somewhere, but
What if somebody comes out of the woodwork like towards the end of the trial and releases it?
that would be funny. That would be even funnier. Like,
And
I would love for that to actually happen. Like, that would be so freaking funny. Demogenize in the house for $2 says tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Nina and Mandy on my channel. 7 p.m. What time? Like Eastern, Pacific?
I'm assuming Eastern. I think the
I
Demogenize.
think it's Eastern.
I think he's in New
it's
York.
Eastern.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it's
so.
Eastern.
So 7 Eastern with Nina and Mandy on Demogenize channel. Here, let me send the link. to
Helena
chat.
says the reports say she was hit. Ski patrol and doctors have said he hit her
Mhm.
based on how his ribs broke. Okay.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the other thing.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
and then the chick said that too, like the lawyer person. She's like, but everybody's saying that his injuries are the way that he's describing, that he hit, like that you hit him. And she's like, and she goes, you're viewing everybody else's thing. And she's like, yes, this is not what happened. I'm telling you what happened. I was there. And I'm like, okay. Like, it's basically her word against everybody else's. This is Demogenized channel, guys. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I mean, how big is this guy, by the way?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because I'm thinking, like, if you I'm surprised she must have had something, if she was involved in this. But I'm just like, it stands to reason, if this guy ran into her, like, why would she not have any injuries?
I know, it's
You know?
weird. It's such a weird accident. And then sometimes when they're going through like the actual accident and the fall and stuff, I'm like
I mean, if
there's
she
so
could
many
see,
other-
how in the world do you even see this guy's skis come between your, like, like, how would you even have the time to do that?
It's so weird, man. It's so weird. Bird up for two says, but Nina, her dog stepped on a bee. Oh my god. Here is the other article that I just saw that I wonder what this is about, because I actually haven't seen the trial today. It says Gwyneth Paltrow accuser apologizes for King Kong ski trial jab. I don't know what that means. Many celebrities descended to, on Park City once a year for Sundance Film Festival, but the past week in the city has been about one star and one courtroom drama in particular. Gwyneth Paltrow's legal team has now rested in a civil trial over a 2016 ski collision.
Oh, this guy's 70. Okay, this guy's 76.
Yeah.
So okay, he's no spring chicken.
So 300,000.
That's an important detail.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I did not know. This guy is not he's not a young man in the prime of his youth.
No, he's not. And damages over physical and emotional wounds he attributed to the crash. An accident he says that Miss Paltrow caused. He says it left him with brain damage and broken ribs. The Hollywood actress has denied being responsible and has countersued. Miss Paltrow is seeking $1 plus compensation for attorney's fees. She has been present each day of the proceedings. On Wednesday, the Oscar-winning winner wore black. Okay, we don't care about that. Blah, blah, blah. Mr. Sanderson is already inside the courtroom, and two did their utmost to avoid eye contact, and she walked by. More than 7 years have passed since the accident on
oh, dang. This was 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know squat about this whole thing.
Known as the Bandana Run, a collision, the former U.S. Army captain and optometrist says left him with a concussion that completely changed his life. On Wednesday, medical experts called to the stand by Ms. Paltrow's defense team disputed that characterization. Mr. Sanderson does not currently need ongoing neurological treatment, said Dr. Robert Hosech, a neurologist, adding, I would evaluate him for dementia. Neuropsychologist, oh my God, so he's got the Biden disease. Neuropsychologist Dr. Angela Estvold argued that the plaintiff had suffered a most mild concussion and that he showed no evidence of brain injury. Anxiety can drive perception of a lot of these difficulties, she said. Okay, what is this Kong freaking thing? That's all I care about. He apologized to director Ms. Paltrow for describing her in 2019 press conference as screaming like King Kong in the jungle. He had meant to say she screamed like a woman being chased by King Kong. He clarified. Oh, okay. I got it. Gotcha. That's what that was. What is this?
Well, isn't it possible her skis could be pointing straight like this? And let me get it right here. So, yeah, so she could be going straight and she could be turning left and up and hit square in the back, but her skis are pointed this way. Isn't that another version?
So for her skis to miss. Oh, no, it's not.
Oh my
Do you want me to
God.
explain?
In a second. I want.
Anyways. It's funny.
mean,
I wonder what's going to happen. The trial's
sure-
funny.
yeah, I'm sure you could have experts on, one expert explains how, it could have happened this way. And then, his attorneys can have vice versa explaining
Mhm.
how I mean, the reality is, like, nobody saw this thing, which is going to make it very very difficult.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just such a funny trial to me. Now I'm going to change gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the U.S. military and how they're weaponizing e-girls. Have you heard about this? That they're
A
getting
little
them
bit,
e-girls.
a little bit. Yeah.
What
What they're
I find
basically
this-
using these women to recruit young men
yes.
to the military because, yeah.
Yes. And it's a very interesting concept to me because, well, as we know, they're really wanting to ban TikTok. They're like really going after it, and I think TikTok is an interesting prospect, but it's also being used by the U.S. military to actually recruit men. And it's really interesting to me that they're using it for that purpose, but they also want to get rid of it. So it's a really, really interesting concept. So I'm going to go through this article because it's really interesting. It says the U.S. military personnel often share their everyday life on TikTok. Some joke and some play pranks on their companions. Others share what they do and eat in the army, etc. One of today's most popular military influencers is Haley Lujan, also known as this person. Lujan is known for her
Lunch bag, Lujan.
Lujan.
Yeah.
Lujan is also known for her provocative, somewhat cynical sense of humor, friendship with Donald Trump's son, and the fact that she is not a simple soldier, but a specialist in PSYOPs, psychological operations. The career platform for the U.S. military recruit states that such soldiers are known for their communication expertise, using unconventional tactics to persuade and influence foreign allies and enemies in support of the U.S. Army objectives. Lujan subscribers are aware of this. They assume that her account is part of a carefully designed marketing strategy. The influencer's goal is to help bolster the reputation of the U.S. military, particularly in the eyes of Zoomers. Or, as the authors of Know Your Meme say, to get simps and the dudes who reply to every picture of boobs with, "Oh my God, DM me to enlist." Empty barracks. The U.S. Armed Forces have been experiencing a shortage of volunteers for several years, despite reduction in military staff. Over the past 40 years, the number of personnel decreased by nearly half. The service is still short on recruits. In 2022, the military only managed to recruit 45,000 servicemen. Shouldn't this be service person now or service people? I mean,
Oh yeah,
step with
definitely.
the times.
Yeah, is this RT?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, that's why it's Russian, right?
Yeah, how dare they? Out of plans 60,000 as a result. The Secretary of Army, Christine.
That's not even that many.
It's
You
not.
know, like even a plan 60,000 is not. At least to me, that doesn't sound like that much because you've got people that are probably leaving the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there's always a chance you could get called back after you're done, but yeah, that just does not even seem like much at all.
No, but that's why they're using TikTok now. So units could be further reduced since it may be impossible to fully staff all existing detachments. Recruitment to Air Force and Navy was more successful, but only because it involved candidates who were not able to start in service in 2001. This personnel shortage can be attributed to several causes. First, the U.S. doesn't have enough suitable candidates. Entry requirements vary based on the service branch of the armed forces, but main criteria are similar. A candidate must be between the ages of 17 and 35. They must be physically and mentally healthy. They must.
I feel like this is a little propaganda, a little Russian propaganda.
I don't think so,
Here.
dude. This is the requirement for.
I mean, these are not high standards, Nina.
But that's your military's.
Most people, most young men coming out of high school can maybe not all, because not everybody's in great physical health or mental health, but I mean, it's not like you have this mass epidemic of I mean, even as much as crazy as the news is, those
Have
are
you
like
seen what's going on Twitter, John?
yeah, but that's like that's like the 5% or whatever of the population.
The
I think
obesity epidemic in your country is pretty. I
it's
think
bad, but you
speaks
you
for
still
itself.
minus that, and you've still got plenty of young men that could join the military.
Well, this is true, and that's why they're recruiting them via e-girls.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of we'll read the article and we'll talk about that after.
Okay, so they must present a high school diploma and pass an entry test for corresponding service branch. The candidate must also be a U.S. citizen or at least possess an immigrant green card. Despite their relatively simple requirements, finding the right people hasn't been easy. According to a recent Pentagon study, only 23% of young people in the United States are fit to serve. The rest have health problems, obesity, mental health disorders, and addictions. The situation has been aggravated by the coronavirus pandemic, as isolation significantly affected the U.S. school children and took a toll on their physical health. Moreover, lockdowns have made young people more indecisive. Studies show that men who studied in high school remotely and engaged in less communication with peers are more likely to postpone important decisions, such as applying to universities or joining the armed forces. Recruitment is also getting harder because an increased number of young Americans who suffer from addictions, for example, alcohol, drug abuse, disqualifies about 11% of those who are otherwise fit to serve. Additionally, marijuana in some form or another is now legal in most states. However, those using the substance still cannot enlist in the military. High school dropouts are another problem affecting the military
I love the
service.
picture they show of that guy. Like,
He's like, fuck.
like they're really trying to discourage people from joining the military. I mean, it makes sense though. Like if you're Russia, not that I think they really have to worry about our military, and if they're joining forces with China,
Mhm.
I mean their military is probably absolutely way more disciplined and stronger than ours. But again, this is just part of. I do think that this is part of the painting our military, trying to paint our military in a bad light, which I think is justified too.
Well,
But,
I mean, yes, but also what it's saying is not necessarily a bad thing. That's why when I read the article, I actually thought that it was pointing out some really interesting things, and the fact that I actually agree with their method of what they're doing. Like, I'm like, you know what they're doing is correct. Like, that's what you're
yeah,
supposed
no,
to do to
I mean, I agree.
recruit.
They've got a lot of truth to work with. It's
Mhm.
not like, it's not like none of these things that they're saying is true either. So I'm not saying that. On the other hand, it's just like, you have to, like, where's the information coming from?
Sure.
And that's just
Sure.
part of, you just kind of have to like find out like what is their bend or what is their end game with
Hey.
producing the story.
Hey, Jane, I love you, but please don't forget about Iran, okay? We are also part of the Axis of Evil. I'm just letting you know. Just don't leave us out, okay? Don't leave us out. We are also part of America's enemies. Is it correct to trick people into getting shot at? Yes, absolutely. If you're stupid enough to fall for it, yes. So here we go. There we go. So blah blah blah. They go into like a little bit. Okay, this part was funny. Moreover, the military criticized by politicians on both the left and right. The former label it bulwark of racism, homophobia, and imperialism. The latter believe that the military blindly follows woke culture and does not react to national threats quickly and decisively enough. Skeptics also point out the cynicism of the law, which considers 17-year-olds not old enough to buy a can of beer, but old enough to die and kill for the sake of obscure goals. Different ethnic groups also have different attitudes towards the military. For example, Blacks and Latinos give less positive ratings to the U.S. armed forces than white Americans. Neither traditional propaganda on the protection of freedom nor progressive ads about minorities in the Army have been much of help. In 2018, public trust in the military was rated at 70%. In 2022, that's dropped to 48%.
Yeah.
The Pentagon understands that both in terms of politics and combat effectiveness, it's dangerous to ignore the declining popularity of the armed forces. So, in order to recruit more young people, the military is brushing up on its image, not only through conventional advertising, but with the help of cute influencers. This is funny. This is like a little meme that says, "Good afternoon, blank. My name is blank, and I'm the Army recruiter out of the blank career center. I'm just reaching out to see if you have ever thought about any of the interest in learning more about the Army. I'm gonna keep with United States military. I'm not dying for an oil company."
Boom.
That's a good one. I haven't seen that one specifically until now. Thanks for the meme and response. Have a good day, rest of your day. Factory and dream recruits, sending celebrities. Okay, this is about this history of like what they used to do, which is fine, but like they used to sell actresses and stuff like that too. World War II, and how Hollywood was in, like they've done military movies with Hollywood for a long time. Now it says, and then it says, however, now that 95% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 watch YouTube, and TikTok's audience has topped 113 million, the military needs access to new platforms. Gaining popularity on the internet hasn't been that simple. The U.S. Armed Forces have official YouTube accounts, the most popular in the U.S. Army channel, with over 1 million subscribers. However, its videos rarely top 50,000 views, and major recruitment ads such as overcoming obstacles are often ridiculed with comments like, "When they ask you to die, suddenly it's all the white men in the commercial."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Chinese-owned TikTok is prohibited on government devices in the United States, so it's difficult for the military to speak the language of irony and memes, which young Americans are familiar with in an online environment. Therefore, the Pentagon has decided to enlist the help of independent creators not affiliated with official Army accounts, people like Lujan. An agent with kitty ears. According to the information on her LinkedIn page, she studied at Zeeland West High School in Michigan. Oh, she's from your neck of the woods. There she was a member of the National Arts Honor Society, swim team, water polo team, and art club. She also studied fine arts in Kendall College of Art and Design. In 2019, Lujan received a psychological operations specialist advanced individual training at John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School. Lujan created a TikTok account in January 2020. Her first videos were usual dancing, jokes, memes, etc. The military content appeared in September 2021 and 2022. Almost as all of Lujan's publications were related to service in the armed forces. And here
It's
is
all part of the plan.
Hey, smile.
this is one of her little videos. She's cute too.
Oh, yeah, she's
She's
absolutely
very cute.
Yeah.
Here, we can look up some of her videos after
This
after.
reminds me of like the sirens in like Homer's Odyssey.
Mm,
You remember like I'm sure some of the chat's familiar, but like the sirens would they'd sing a song, and it was so like enchanting and beautiful that
the siren song.
yeah, the sailors and the people on the ship, they would go, they would steer towards it, and then the boat would crash in the rocks and they'd all die.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of what it feels like. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a better analogy to describe this, but really, I'll just share my thoughts on this, because I do think there's like a huge level of distrust with the government and the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, again, I think it's kind of the thing with taxes. I think most people don't have a problem paying taxes as long as it somehow benefits them and their community,
Mm-hmm.
like as long as they can see that it's, they understand it's a necessary evil. And that's how I see. Now, the amount of taxes, though, that you have to pay is ridiculous. That's insane. And that's stupid. It does not, we should not be paying. If I told you the percentage that I paid in taxes, it would be, you probably, I mean,
It's criminal.
it was, yeah, it's like that money's just gone. You know, I mean, it's just outrageous to me. Anyways,
Going
but
to
even
the
just
Ukraine, John. It's going to the
yeah,
Ukraine.
but just the average person, you know, whether you're paying anywhere from like 25% or to a third of your income is ridiculous too. Like it's just you know, and so I see it the same way though. I see it as I think I don't have a problem with defending my country
Mm-hmm.
as long as I believe in the cause.
Right.
You know, as long as I believe that we're doing this for our own survival and to protect the people we love, I will fight for that. I have no problem fighting for that. I will die for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're asking me to die for some bullshit operation, you know, for the sake of oil or some political bullshit, you know, people are wising up. And you know, even young people. And it's like, I'm not sacrificing myself on the altar of your stupidity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of your, you know, meanwhile, all these politicians' kids, they're not going to join the military. And I think you know, I mean, they're not gonna fight.
No.
And so I like the old school idea of like, you know, the tribe and the tribe, you know, like all the men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it wasn't just like probably the 18-year-olds to you know, they weren't the ones just being sacrificed, you know, for it, but it was like everybody that was of able age, which I suppose it's like 17 to 35 or whatever. But it's like, you know, it's only when we're actually truly being threatened, you know, and there's like Vietnam, everybody, I think the reverberations of that should not be forgotten. And that's one reason why I would never ever join the military, let alone Desert Storm, let
Mhm.
alone any of this stuff. Like Afghanistan.
I mean, this article mentioned that too, like the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal and everything like that. Like that's kind of very fresh and especially young people's minds because they're like, well, what the hell? Like we're kind of like what are we doing here? And I
We're
think
just
you're right. Like
occupying.
I think you're right.
And
in a
people are getting
sense.
blown up.
Yeah, and I think you're right in the sense that like I think the urgency is just not there, especially for the military, like the US military right now for people to join. Like in World War II, everybody was joining because it was like, okay, we're gonna go fight the Nazis and everybody was stepping up, you know, like it was just one of
There
those
was the
things.
attack. There was the attack on Pearl Harbor,
Mhm.
which, you know, I mean, if you look at depends on who you listen to and what you watch, but I mean, it seems like there was evidence that FDR knew that attack was coming and he let it happen though, so that there would be a favorable because at that point, like Americans or, you know, the US they were not willing to go to war. Like the polling was showing that they were not willing to do it. And after Pearl Harbor happened, after we were attacked on our own soil, that's when there was a change in public opinion.
Mhm.
But you know, Nazism or, you know, Hitler, the axis of evil. I mean, that was a real threat, and we knew. It's like we knew Hitler's motivations. We knew, like, he was after world domination, and you know,
That's what I'm saying. The
it was
urgency was
genocide.
there.
It was terrible.
Yeah,
you know? I mean,
the urgency was
yeah.
there. Now it's like, what are the young people fighting up to fight? You know, like, and right now, I think that more than ever in the United States, you guys have been so divided too. Like it's one of those things where you guys hate each other right now. So it's like to sign up to go abroad and fight some other enemy when you think that, like, you know, your cousin might be an enemy, like because they're like left leaning or
They
right
have,
leaning
yeah,
or
different
whatever.
politics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's a very weird time in America, like when it comes to like military recruitment and things like that. For me, I just find it really interesting that while the government wants to ban TikTok, they're also understanding that it has its uses and that they're actually utilizing it for their own purposes. Like they're doing their own thing. They're like, you know what? We know this shit works. We know that you're getting that information. We know these e-girls can recruit you. So we're going to use it as much as we can, but also we're going to fucking ban that shit. which by the way, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? The fact that they want to ban TikTok.
Good luck. I mean, you're going to piss off a lot of people, unfortunately, because you're taking away their. If you do that, it's like you're taking away their drug.
That's
You know,
interesting.
and
Yeah.
and it's not. The same would be true if they got rid of YouTube or anything like that. People, I don't know if it's a politically good move for these Republicans to try to do this, because young people are going to remember that it was Republicans who took away their
TikTok.
their TikTok. Yeah.
Well, and see the thing with
That's why I don't think anything's going to really come of this.
well, I mean, it might, John, because
They might
this-
just be it's just busy work.
you think
you
it's
know,
distraction.
it's just I mean, they got it. The thing is, like, these people have to do something in government, and how much really ever truly gets changed. And so I think a lot of times there's the appearance of work going on,
Mhm.
and there ain't shit getting done, and not to say like banning TikTok would be getting anything done. I mean, I will say, like, I think there's probably legitimate worries and concerns that, yeah, China is probably, like, you better believe they're probably taking all of our information. If they have access to it, why wouldn't they? If I was China, I would too. If I was Xi Jinping, I'm thinking in his shoes.
Mhm.
Like, of course, this guy is going to try to mine all of the data he possibly can to further his own country.
But don't you think that that's a little bit naive in a sense that, like, in a sense that it's not like Google, YouTube, freaking Facebook, especially, like all of these guys. Don't you think that they also data mine, and don't you think they get hacked
Absolutely.
or sell the
Absolutely.
the data to other, like the enemy or whatever? Like, don't you think that kind of stuff already happens when it comes to social media? I mean, TikTok, I feel like it's just such a
Well, I don't know. It's like if companies are using it for their own advantage, like, I don't think they have a problem if U.S. companies are doing. Although Facebook came under fire for some of that,
yeah, they did. Yes, it's true.
So, I don't like the idea of it. I don't like the idea of them having all being able to go through my pictures, or basically having, and who knows what else they're able to get into your search history or whatever.
Well,
It's like,
I just feel like this is kind of like a Patriot Act 2.0. Like, I feel like what they're trying to do is control information and the spread of information, and they don't really care. Like, and it kind of this kind of shows that they don't really care. They know that the information's out there,
right.
like, and some of the stuff, like, for me, I know there's always two sides of the coin, right? Like, because Twitter and TikTok, social media in general, can be used as a force of good, but it can also be used as a force of evil. And I fully realize this, especially when you see, like, all the lived up TikTok stuff. When you see stuff like that, you're like, oh my God, like, what is going on? But then if you if you watch my show, John, on Fridays that I do, half of my stuff comes from TikTok. A lot of the stuff comes from like, there's this whole movement, for example, of how there's this movement of people creating TikToks in order to get donations from people so that they can help Walmart older employees that are, like, above 80 years old to retire. And they've succeeded many times. So, like, more than ever before, people are actually being helped on TikTok, and TikTok is a force for good in that sense, because people are getting together and using that platform as something good, but they're also using it as something bad. So
Sure.
it's two sides of the same coin. And if you
Right.
take that away, if you take the bad away, you're also taking the good away. So is that justified then?
That's a question that's just too, in terms of, like, if you're trying to outweigh, the bad versus the good, I think it's probably impossible to put that in or at least for me to even have a quantifiable idea of what, because I think most people would say, like, if the bad is probably outweighing the good to so
Mhm.
much of like, if we could measure the mental health of people, or, how much social media in general is affecting our brains and everything. Like, if we had a way to truly measure that for the entire population, it might very well be better for it to not exist, especially for future generations,
Hmm.
going forward. And so that's the thing too. Like, you can't just look at the here and now. But again, there's no way to measure this. There's no way to, to we like to try to even gather all of that data would be an insane endeavor,
I just don't
because
think like I'm one of those people who's just not for banning things personally, like because
no, and
I came from a
I'm
country that did ban everything.
sure. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that anything should be banned. Like,
Mhm.
I don't believe that. But I do think that I'm a little bit utilitarian in the idea that there could be an argument, not to say that this will, again, it's too far. Like, the box has been open. Pandora's box is open. There's no going back. Even AI, I know Elon Musk, everybody, he's trying to slow that down.
He is trying to slow that down. I have
Yeah.
I have an article about that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's out of the bag,
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter at this point.
But
And-
and that's the thing too. And Helena's bringing up a point here and says they've done studies. It's not good, especially for kids, mostly girls under 18. The numbers are astounding regarding depression, eating
Yeah, it's
disorders,
horrible.
suicide. Look, I'm not arguing this, but I'm also arguing it because isn't this the parents' job? It's not about TikTok, okay? This is about peers, it's about school, it's about parents, it's about everybody that's surrounding these kids. Like, it's not about, oh, let's just, if you're going to take TikTok away, there's always going to be something that replaces it. It's not going to touch the underlying issue, which is the fact that the parents are nowhere to be found, or that the parents are not doing their job correctly to make girls understand that they shouldn't be on TikTok and doing these kind of things. That's a mentality. It's a mentality.
but it's also it's also feeding on the insecurity, and yeah, sure, something else will rise up and take the place of TikTok if it does get removed, like a US company. And you already see YouTube and Facebook and Instagram doing the shorts and more of like the TikTok format because
Mhm.
they know it works.
Yes.
But yeah, I think overall, unfortunately, we're just too far in, and it's too the problem is, there was no foresight in terms of what would happen, in terms of the internet, and just how much, again, I think, sure, there's some good done, but I think overall it has probably hurt us. And that's like, and I know there's a certain level of, like, as somebody that puts videos out on YouTube,
Mhm.
and makes a living off of it,
Mhm.
but I also can't escape the fact that and just myself being on the damn thing so much that, yeah, I don't think that this is, you got marriage rates lower than ever. People's social skills are horrible, which of course is going to affect dating, which of course is going to affect marriage rates and reproduction. It's, I think it's worse than we even can possibly think it is.
But you think that this is like you're blaming all of that on TikTok?
No, I'm not blaming it on TikTok. No, it's not just TikTok. It's no, I would not single out TikTok.
Okay,
as
good.
the-
Because I'm
No,
like,
no,
I'm not
saying-
following you.
No, I'm saying the internet as a whole,
Okay.
and where we have gotten with it. And now it's like, I see older people on their phones,
Mm-hmm.
like how you would used to see kids on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
I see older people on their phones, like they're addicted too. You know, like this is an epidemic. Like this is it's yeah. I think it's, even as I'm talking about it, I think it's even worse than I previously thought.
Hmm.
And we're you know, it's we're not and the thing is, we have all this variety, like we have an insane amount of knowledge at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Mhm.
truly we could become the most intelligent generation that has ever walked the face of the earth. Like we could be doing things that probably have never been done.
Mm-hmm.
But we're probably consuming porn. We're watching, you know, pointless bullshit, dance videos on TikTok. Girls are envious of these, you know, thoughts. They're having eating disorders. You know, it's just, none of this is really being used to, I wouldn't say none, but a lot of it isn't really being used to productive means.
Hmm.
And and that's the thing, where if you are one of those people out there that I think can avoid all of the garbage out there and all of the, again, I don't think it's the idea of moderation. It's the same thing with video games. You know, it's one thing to dabble in it a little bit, to have a little fun with it, but when you have an addiction, like when you have a serious problem, when it is really affecting your life and your relationships, and you don't even know how to socialize anymore, that's a big problem, and it's going to culminate. Like it's going to, I think we underestimate the effect that the micro, like individuals, have on the overall, you know, system of society. But it is going to, all this stuff is going to add up. And
It is adding up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it is. I think it's kind of culminate. Like there's got to be a breaking point. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point there has to be something that you're like, oh my god, like because every day I see something on TikTok or something, I'm like, what is next? You know, and it's not just TikTok either. It's like YouTube, you know, Twitter, all of it, like all the social medias. I just don't think that banning TikTok is going to solve any of these problems. People are still gonna go and get it. Like,
no, I agree. Like I mean, I'm not saying ban TikTok. I'm not saying that.
no, I know you're not,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that like a lot of people are. A lot of people are saying we should ban TikTok, and that TikTok is basically the majority of the problem. If we ban TikTok, all
No,
of
if
the
you
stuff
ban,
is gonna go away. But if you're banning
well, it's
TikTok, what's
you know,
going away
the
is it's
issue
not in your
is,
face anymore.
it's
That's all
the
it is.
the point that they want to ban is because China's getting our information. You
I
know,
think
it's not
that's just a cover. I think that's just see. I think that's
what.
propaganda because China's already getting your information. It's not like that's already a thing. Like if
So why do you think they want to ban it then?
I think it's because of information control. I personally think it's because it's kind of like what Bird Up's saying here. Bird Up for 5 says the TikTok ban is a Trojan horse. This is a government wanting greater power. I agree with that because I think that it's a hidden thing, just like
The ability to
just
shut down.
exactly. Just like the Patriot Act was. Everybody was for the Patriot Act when it first
Yeah.
started. Like, oh my God, because we're scared of the terrorists. We got to stop those
Right.
terrorists.
Yeah.
You know, like, and now this is the same thing. It's like what you're doing is it's a band-aid solution on a much deeper issue, which is mental illness and a lot of other things that are going on in your country and in the world, you know, in the world at large. And now people on TikTok are showing that to us. Our Libs of TikTok is showing people what's going on out there. It's not that it won't be going on once it stops. You're just not going to be looking at it anymore. That's all. It's still going to be there. The mentality is still the same. And I think that the government just wants to control it. So then, you know, if you're going to ban TikTok, you know, what's next? Maybe afterwards they'll be like, you know what, we don't really like the Bible anymore. Maybe we're just going to start banning all the Bible channels, or like maybe we don't like this anymore. We're going to start banning all this stuff. Where does it end?
Sure. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I just don't understand where this all ends. We got grumpy old ninja here for 5 says, I don't trust Congress to not accidentally ban the First Amendment in the process, so they have no business banning anything. Let parents actually parent. This is where I'm at too. Like, I'm sick of the government
Right.
trying to nanny state everybody. This is such a nanny thing to do. It's like, okay, let me like, parents can't parent anymore, so we must step in and save the young people by banning fucking TikTok. It's like, okay, it's not like the young people aren't going to go get their fix somewhere else, but sure. It's not like YouTube isn't putting out shorts now every 5 seconds. So they'll just go on YouTube.
If it, if the cover or the idea is China,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's part of, maybe some people are very legitimately concerned about that in Congress. But yeah, or maybe it is just I don't necessarily think that some of the players in there are for government overreach in that regard, but at this point, whether they are or aren't, I agree with you, and I agree with many people in the chat. I don't like the idea of the government telling you, what you, or basically shutting down.
Like the other day, I actually heard this argument from, by the way, thank you, Grumpy, for that super chat. And I heard another thing the other day when I forget who it was. I think it was, he's a black Republican dude. His name is, he's a rapper dude. His name is
I think I know what you're talking about, but what's his name?
I forget his Saigon? No. What was it? Crichton? I forget his name. But he's like a hardcore Christian dude. And he was he tweeted out that that was it, no, it's not JC Watts, it's somebody else. And he tweeted out that that they should ban porn. That porn should be banned. And I was like, look, I'm not a fan of porn. I'm not one of those people that's like, yay, porn. Okay. But banning porn is not going to stop anything. Like, it's not going to stop anything. It's just, maybe you're going to have less easy access to it.
That does. Well, here's the thing. Okay. I'm not, again, it's a very slippery slope,
Mhm.
once the government can take away something like that. Right.
Mm-hmm. CC Bryson, that's right. CC Bryson, that's
okay.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, that would make a big difference for a lot of men. Like, it's the ease of access, and I'll, for anybody out there, if you want to form a new habit, this has been pretty much proven. Like, of course, your environment is key. And really how easy it is to have access to something. If you want to quit a bad habit, it's much more difficult when you have the cigarettes in your house versus or anything that is. Basically, the idea is, if you want to quit something, you need to make the distance between you and that thing greater.
Mm-hmm.
You need to.
Yeah, like alcoholics. Like, you can't have alcohol in the house. I get that.
Yeah. So
I get that.
I believe that if they did ban porn, a lot of men would actually quit watching it. They would probably find other means.
I disagree. I don't
do
think men
it.
would stop watching it. I think people would
here's
go
the thing.
around trying to watch it. They'll find other ways.
I think they would cut down, though, quite a bit. Severe, like a lot more. And you're always going to have, like, I do think you're always going to have that portion of the population where they will go out and they will find it no matter what.
Or do it. They'll get involved because they'll be like, well, if I can't watch it anymore, I might as well do some so I can get my fix. It's just one of those things. It's like, if you're addicted to something, you're gonna find a way.
The thing the thing was back in the day, and I'll speak to this personally myself. Back in the day, if you wanted to get porn, like you had to go to, I mean, I guess if you had a friend that that had it, like that was one way to get it. Um, but there was a sort of stigma, right, where you didn't want to walk into a store and buy. You felt there was like a sense of shame, as a little bit of embarrassment. Maybe that's a little bit more gone today. I certainly would still feel that though. I would feel weird going into a store, putting a magazine on the counter. Like now, granted, I mean, back in the day, I did buy Maxims. As a teenager,
Sure.
I didn't feel that bad about that, but that wasn't porn. It was pretty darn. It wasn't that
It's
far
pretty
away.
close, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it was about like soft,
Mhm.
but especially for a teenager. My
Yeah.
gosh, like. Like a girl just barely showing anything at that point was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I there's still like
No, I wasn't thinking Maxim. I was thinking the other one actually. Was it Hustler?
yeah. So you're thinking
Yeah, I
maybe
was
you
thinking
are.
Hustler.
See, that's porn. Like
Yeah, that was like I thought you
Maxim-
meant
Maxim was
Hustler, and I
like-
was like Maxim. Isn't that just like swimsuit like models?
Well, that's
Like,
what it is. It was like girls dressed in skimpy clothes, but they were clothed.
mhm. Yeah,
Barely. But
yeah.
but even now, I would even feel weird buying something like that as a grown as a grown man, like going to like a Barnes and Noble and slapping that on the counter to like some girl in front of me, like there, and maybe I'm just a little bit more traditional in that regard. But the thing is, when you have such an easy access to porn
Mhm.
via your phone or your computer, and
So you would
the
be
privacy.
so you would be for a porn ban.
Again, no, I mean, it's a slippery slope. So I'm not saying, I think we would be, I actually believe we would be better off if we did, whether
Mhm.
we should or not. I don't like the idea of the government coming in and, restricting because what's next,
Exactly.
but what I'm saying is if it didn't exist, you would see more relationships, more kids being born. I think overall it would just be better for society. I saw on Twitter there was this account I follow, and they were saying OnlyFans is destroying society. And I think
I swear to God, I read the same article, John, except instead of OnlyFans, it was saying TikTok.
okay. Well,
Like-
and I don't think it's just the one, obviously I don't think it's just the one thing.
Mhm.
But part of it is our responsibility as men. Like I don't think women understand. It's just nearly impossible for women to understand how tempting that material is to a man. That's why, like, a lot of women don't get porn. Like, some do, some like it, some enjoy it. But for men, like, unless you are a man, you do not like it. It's another siren. Like it is something that is so alluring to men. And so I do think part of the responsibility is on us, regardless, as men, because if we don't do it, OnlyFans and porn like does not exist. If there's no demand for it, if nobody's watching, it will disappear. That
And
that's not gonna happen, but-
supply and demand. Like
Right.
that's the thing. I think that I'm in agreement with you, but I think that and somebody said in the chat, not for bans, but for limitations, and I get that too. Like, I hate seeing porn on my damn Twitter feed. Okay. Like, I get it. And it's very easily accessible for young kids. I think that it shouldn't be easily accessible for young kids. There should be age limits for this
You know
kind of
what?
stuff.
I'm gonna say I will say I would not have a problem with it being banned. I mean, I say that's a really tough thing because I'm nudity in art, I think, is one thing and it's a form of expression. but I do think the harmful effect that it has, not just on like society, but also kids, like
Mhm.
young kids being able to access uh porn at a young age, like that is not that's that's
It's
just
not
not
good for the
healthy.
psyche. It's not
No,
healthy. I
no,
agree.
kids should be able to be kids,
I
and
agree.
they need that time. Like it
I
is
agree that
not
the
it.
innocence needs to stay. Kids need to stay
Yeah,
innocent, and I agree with that. But I don't think the government banning porn altogether is going to achieve something like that. And I think again, it comes back to the family, and it comes back to parents, and it comes
yeah.
back to
No,
the
yeah.
upbringing and the child's mentality and what is going on in the kids' minds. It's just basically like, to me, this is a parenting issue more than anything. Like, like fundamental, like societal
Sure,
basis, not a
sure.
governmental parental thing. You know what I mean? It's just
No,
like,
absolutely,
I just
absolutely.
think at
It's up to the parents to take responsibility and
Mhm.
control. Um, yeah, and they don't have it, they don't
And
have it easier than they
yeah,
might
it's
have
just
it
like
more
what
difficult than anybody,
and I always
any
think to myself,
generation.
well, what's the solution? Like, if we're not getting the good parents anymore. I don't know what's going on with parents. I'm just like, well,
Well,
what is the
how good do you think
solution?
how good do you think the parents are gonna be now?
I
The
know. It's
ones that are
scary.
growing up on TikTok and watching porn, you
It's
know?
scary, isn't it? Like, it's just, it's a weird vicious cycle. And it's just like, where do we stop it? How do we stop it? Can we stop it? I don't know. I like, but having conversations like this, I think helps. I think it helps to at least kind of like put these ideas out there to maybe get people to think about these kind of things and think about, hey, maybe I want to start instilling these kind of values in my family life, so that, like, maybe I want to go to church more. Maybe I want to get in touch with my spiritual side more. Maybe because I think that that's one of the things that's really missing deeply in a lot of society, is that spiritual connection. Because once you lose spiritual connection, to yourself, to God, or to whatever may be for you, that's when you start seeking other forms of, I don't know. It's like it's kind. It's
Well,
a very
what else is there left, you know?
exact. Mhm.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Nina, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
no,
you,
but it's just,
but
it's kind of like, it's a weird way of saying it, but it's just like you want to fill that hole. I know that's weird. I know you
well, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
exactly.
there's that void,
There's
but
that
yeah,
void, you
it
want to
it
fill that, and you're like, well, where am I looking? Like, and you start looking in all the wrong places, and I think that that's kind of like where we've been, is like we've just kind of lost touch with our spiritual parts of ourselves. And I think that that's really hasn't helped society, and I think that that's one of the reasons we're where we are at, is because we've lost that spiritual connection. Whether that means God, I think, I don't know, maybe atheism has helped. I don't know.
no, well, if you think about, like, atheism, like, what hope, and I'm not speaking against anybody who is an atheist, like,
Mhm.
obviously don't take it
Neither
personally or
neither am I.
anything,
Neither am I.
it's not, I in some ways, I could understand why people would be an atheist in some ways, in some ways, of course, but, ultimately, like, what hope is there in atheism or nihilism,
Mhm.
like, it's a very scary idea, the idea that we are, if we are just here on our own, left to our own devices, and there is no restraining uh higher power out there, or in control to some degree.
Mhm.
I think we do have an insane level of free will, and thank God for that. I'm glad, but I also think that there is, um, I think one of the things that keeps society in check, or at least keeps it fairly healthy, is people that do believe in God
Mhm.
and do believe, you know, um, that there is morality, and things that you should do and not do. And I think overall, if you look at those beliefs generally, they're they're ones that are going to contribute good things for society, not bad. Like being honest, telling the truth, not stealing, not coveting your neighbor's wife,
Mhm.
marriage. You know, all of these values that I think keep society healthy. You know, what does, you know, if you're an atheist, what do you believe in? You basically believe like, hey, there's nothing to believe in. So you're the one who makes your own rules. You're the one and that's the appeal of it, really, is that I'm in control. I can do whatever I want. But really, if you look at the end game of a society that believes that, and they're not you know, they don't have like a unified idea of beliefs, and there is no, you know,
Where do you go from here?
yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
no fear or reference of God, or this idea that you are being there's somebody that you're accountable to, and you have
Mhm.
to answer to. Well, lying's not a problem, you know, like, because what if you can lie to get ahead? Why wouldn't you? If you
Mm.
can steal to get ahead and not get caught, why wouldn't you?
I think that
You know,
I
and
also think
I do think there are atheists who still have a code of ethics, morality, and I think the reason why, though, is because there is something that is written into us where we have a conscience, and that in itself is pretty. How do you even explain the existence of a conscience?
conscience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. And I think it's the other thing, just to go back a little bit on the porn issue. I think the other interesting aspect of porn, I saw somebody bring that up as well in the chat, is the idea of like not using your sexual energy correctly. And I think that that's one of the things that, you know, we are sexual beings at the end of the day. Like we have to do that to procreate. Like it is part of our nature. And I think that that's one of the reasons that, like, I think porn is perhaps utilizing the sexual energy in a wrong way. Not necessarily that it shouldn't be used. It's fun. Like, it's not that it's not fun, but a lot of things that are fun are not necessarily good for you. So it's just basically like one of those things where, like, obviously you're going to have sexual things in life, but when you're misusing your sexual energy, that's not necessarily good for you in general. Because I know a lot of people who, for example, you know, maybe quit watching porn or whatever, they start becoming more creative. Like, I know people who start to use their sexual energy in a correct way, because they become, you know, in full committed relationships, and they stop watching porn as much, not even like fully, just not as much, and they start using that energy in a better way to do different things, to, you know, create things, or work out, or go out, or, you know, do different things with that energy. And I think that that's one of the things that is really interesting to me, and is how we all, you know, misuse our sexual energy a lot of the times. And I think that that's really interesting as well. Let me get a couple of these super chats
Sure.
here, John. 200 Watt Studio, thank for the $2, says Nina's part of the Axis of Hot. Thank you, appreciate that. Mark, thank you for the $5. Says, just got home, saw Infinite Talk notification, and it put a smile on my face. Great to see you both. Glad to hear opinions on this issue. Thank you for being here, Mark. And Grumpy Old Ninja for 5 says, John Talks is a strong point, as lack of availability can help, but we can't trust the people issuing the bans. They are libs if TikTok in suit. That's funny. 200 Watt Studios for $5 says, nothing like going up to a woman at the Barnes and Noble checkout counter with a swimsuit calendar and saying to her, I bet you're in this. Oh no. Have you done that, 200 Watt Studio? Was that your move? What the fuck? That's funny. Okay. Oh yeah, and there was a Rumble rant here. Thank you for the Zerks Morks. Thank you for the $1 to say a lot of my favorites are on Rumble right now. Hard to watch all of them when stream times overlap. Good sign for Rumble growth. That's why I bought Rump shares. Oh, yay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. And thank you everybody on Rumble who's watching. You guys are fantastic. And of course, YouTube too. YouTube, you guys are great. Make sure you smash the like. And I hope you're enjoying the conversation. I know I am. It's always really interesting to have these kind of conversations and like just, get into the nitty-gritty of what is the underlying issue of things versus like the surface problems. I don't know, like for example, did you hear about Black China and how she recently found God? And
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that on Twitter. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I found it really interesting that she decided to stop doing OnlyFans, and she removed her tattoo, like her weird demon tattoo thing. And she's like getting facial fillers and stuff like that removed. I think this is all very interesting. Do you think that this has something to do with her? Because a part of me thought maybe it's because she's aging and she was like, well, I can't really do anything with this anymore because, I don't know. That was kind of like my initial thought of it. Like, oh, she's just basically can't really make money on it anymore. So she's just like, oh, I found God now. It just
well, she
feels
was
like very
making-
convenient.
How much was she making on OnlyFans? I think it was like 200 and
I'm not
was
sure.
it
Does it
245
say?
million? Like, no, that seems outrageous.
No, that's a lot.
Yeah, she was making a lot though a year.
That's-
It was in the
Can
millions.
I Google that? Like, how much does?
Yeah, let me. I could see if I can find it.
Okay. 200 Watt Studios for $2 says all the time used a Golden Girls calendar once. Oh my God, you're gross, but also funny. That's
20 million per month. Okay, I wasn't wrong. 240 million a year. So I mean I think that she's legit. People just don't give up $240 million a year. I mean,
a month.
Well, 20 million a month,
20 million.
240 million a year.
Wow.
I mean,
Woo!
that's insane.
That's a lot of money.
So I think, she's completely sincere. There's no, like when people do stuff, they usually do it for some sort of gain.
Mhm.
Even if it's like, to me, I don't see how this benefits her, right?
Yeah, I
She's
don't.
not going to make that kind of money.
Well, I mean,
doing
I
this.
thought maybe it was because she was like not making that much money anymore because she's getting older. So she I thought maybe she's just like, well, I'm hitting the wall, so I might as well like call it quits and find God. But
I mean,
don't
unless
know
that
if,
number
like,
is
she
a
really
lie,
means it.
but she's a celebrity, and if she's got OnlyFans, I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me.
Mm.
I don't. That's one thing I don't get is like how men will pay, like they'll pay for porn when it's free. Like that's something that is like I'm not paying anybody for. I'm just not, and I don't even think, obviously it's like I mean, shoot, for most men, if you have a computer and if you have a phone, like you have watched porn, it's probably a given at some point. If you haven't, you're awesome. Good for you.
Mm.
For resisting that temptation. But that is certainly like one thing where, paying, no, I'm not paying somebody's monthly subscription. I'm just, I'm just not. But I think that's where we're at though too, is where people are just so like even your basic porn or whatever that you can get access to. It's like, no, now you've got to get something that's a little bit more exclusive, something that, it like celebrity porn or whatever, or
yeah.
or just whatever. It's just
There's
like
always that next tier, right? Like
Yeah.
there's always like the next thing. I just found it fascinating. I was like, oh, it's interesting to me. And then she's just like, she's getting tattoos removed, and it's just it's a really it's interesting. That was
I mean, in the sense that, sorry to interrupt, in the
No,
sense that, she's getting older. It might not be just her hitting the wall, but I think getting older, at least for me, it's like you start realizing like, oh, okay. I you're starting to contemplate your own mortality, you know,
No,
at
that's
some
true.
point, you know, at
Yeah.
some point you're realizing like, oh, okay, I'm at least halfway through life. You know, she's probably not quite there, but you know, she's got kids too, and she's probably actually starting to think ahead rather than just in the moment. And yeah, I think you're going to start thinking a little bit differently when you have a much bigger picture vision, and maybe that's I think that's, you know, what happens when you get a little bit older, maybe, or you don't want to think about it. And I think
I think you're right. I think you're
Yeah.
on the money with that, because that's really that's a good point. This comment killed me. Clowns with turtle sex is all that does it for me now. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
funny.
Okay, let's see. Speaking of waste of money, I mean, and I don't even know if this is like real or not, because sometimes I'm like, maybe this isn't real. Maybe this is fake, and I'm completely stupid, and you know, just I don't know what's satire anymore or not. But I saw this on Clown World. It says these paintings are by Cy Twombly, one of the most expensive contemporary artists. His paintings range from $2 million up to $75 million. Is this true? Can we look this up? Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
They are scribbles on a wall. My nephew paints like that. Well, used to when he was 2. What the frig? Dude, I cannot stand this shit. Like, I can't stand modern art. It's the most ridiculous shit that I've ever heard. And you know what? I think you're right, 200 Watt Studio. I think this is money laundering, because what else is it? Like, what the frig? Like, who is paying for this? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'm looking at he was actually born in 1928.
1928.
Yeah, he's older.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's in his 90s. I'm looking at his art right now. Yeah, it's certainly all abstract. I mean, I think because I'm a little bit familiar with the art world, because I've been involved in art. And I get it. You know, it's like,
Do you wish you could scribble like that and then make $75 million?
well, it's kind of the idea of, you know, if you can build a name and a brand for yourself, like his art, it's not necessarily all of this, but it is abstract. And
Can you share some of it? Share your screen.
yeah, let me.
Does he have anything other than scribbles?
I mean, it's a lot of like he's got some paint, but yeah, there's a lot of abstract. What I do.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I don't mind abstract either.
That art is from him in 1933. It looks like a toddler drew it. Like, I'm like, what is this?
Well, you look at Jackson. What do you think of Jackson Pollock?
I don't know. Wait, is that the guy with the banana? That sounds familiar. I don't
No.
know.
All right, are we sharing?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sharing it. Okay, so this is just okay, wait, go to that one right there. The blue with the whatever circles. There's 3 circles
Like
there. Like, what is
flowers?
that? Yeah, like, well,
It-
I mean, at least that's
it's
like
interpretive.
something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's not just a bunch of scribbles on a wall.
Yeah, you
There's-
could make the argument that there's scribbles.
I mean, there's scribbles, but
it's there's an idea of something. You I guess you could interpret. Like, I guess I saw flowers at the outside.
yeah, I mean, I saw roses, but that's like the kind of roses I used to
Oh, it
draw
does.
when I
It,
was
say,
1.
it says rose on the top, so there's some
Okay,
like writing in there.
So, I mean, I thought that was roses, like, because I used to draw roses like that when I was like 2 years old. I just don't understand why a 2-year-old's art drawn by a 50-year-old man or whatever is like supposed to be not 90-year-old man in this instance, but I'm sure he was younger when he drew those.
Well,
I
it's
just
because
don't
he's
understand. I don't understand the mentality. I don't get it.
that's the thing, because he's not. You know, he's an older. I mean, even when he drew it, like, here's you got these. But that's the thing about art is it's always shifting to something, it's like it's what's different. And so like people, especially in the art community,
Mm-hmm.
You have these like different, you have expressionism, you have you've just got all of impressionism, realism. And so it kind of bounces back to like something different and something new. It's no longer about like the artistry of capturing a moment. I mean, me personally, to some extent, I find art that resembles real life. Like it certainly involves a lot of skill to replicate that. But I don't find it to be creative. It's a skill, and there is a certain level of creativity to it for sure. And I think most, like 99% of people would say, hell, that's fucking creative. But me as an artist, what you're doing is you're basically just, if you understand lights and darks, if you understand how to replicate that, which I do to some extent, and I could take a black and white photo and I could I could probably come pretty close to making it look, because I understand what it takes to get there. And then of course, to do that with paint is a much more difficult thing. And I do think there is creativity involved. Like, but if you're just taking a picture and you're just copying it, that's where it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily creative for me. But then again, I'm speaking as an artist, so
Sure.
I appreciate novelty and I appreciate something that is different. But I also understand too, where somebody looks at this, and is like, my kid could do this.
I can do this. Yes. 201 Studios produces my 5-year-old fridge has paintings worth millions. This is true. I'm sure. Russell Halford too says Cecil turns out better art. This is true. I like Cecil's art. I think Cecil's art is better than that. My God.
But the key is different. I think that's the key.
Okay. So I looked up Jackson Pollock, and I think his art, even though it's scribbles, is better than this dude's. So like this is like, for example, this like. I mean, at least there's something.
Are we still sharing on mine? I just pulled
No,
up
this
Jackson
is mine.
Pollock. Okay.
This is something like, I mean, at least there's something going on. Like I see it's intricate. It's more intricate. There's some, like, you can tell that it's artistic at least.
Yeah.
It's not just a bunch of fucking scribbles. I mean,
Yeah, he would drip. He would drip the paint, But again, like Jackson Pollock, when he did the style, there's a movie with Ed Harris. That's like a biography of his life, or a biopic. But again, this was very new to the art community.
Yeah.
So when he started doing this, it was like people have never seen anything quite like this before.
I don't mind this as much as I like the scribble stuff. Like, I'm just like, I mean, at least there's something to this. I personally can't stand Picasso though. Like, I am not a fan. Like, I don't like that style of art. Like, I just don't like abstract art. It's just not my cup of tea.
Sure.
Like, I don't like stuff like this.
But the one thing about Picasso is like there's nobody like him. There's nobody did art quite, and that's the appeal of like any of these artists that we're probably talking about. Now, whether like this other guy, Cy Twombly, if he was the first one to introduce this art, because I don't know if kids had crayons. Well, I guess they probably had crayons in the 1940s or 50s whenever he did those works. But again, if he's kind of the first to the table doing something different, and that's like his signature style, then he stands out. Because the reality is, like, there's so many really talented artists out there. There's so many artists out there that they're skilled. That's the thing. They're skilled. They can replicate reality. There's a lot of artists that can do that. But to be original or to be different, that's what it takes to succeed as an artist.
That's interesting. I mean, I think Picasso is funny because he can't draw fucking faces worth shit. But then he would draw nipples on everything. Like it's like look how many breasts and nipples there is in this.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
some more
a lot of
breasts and nipples.
right, a lot of Picasso stuff. Yeah, it's not my thing for sure. But the one thing I will say about him is like he's a one of a kind. So I kind of get why he stands. He's still relatively new in the overall scope of things, but
He was
why?
into feet.
Yeah. Well, cubism, right? Cubism, I think, was something that he originated.
I can't. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I personally just don't like modern art. I like Rubber Butt says, "Woo, free to nipple, free to nipple." I guess that's true. In that sense, that's okay.
Well, especially back then.
I know.
Like
Well, actually, I mean, they went through like, I mean, in the Renaissance,
No,
it was
there's
always like, boobs. Like boobs was a thing. Like we went through.
no, that's true. That's true.
Like, especially
There's a lot of nudity in
a
that.
lot of
Yeah.
great nudity, and then it became like so weird. Like nudity became just like unless you're doing porn, it's like not. Or like I don't know.
Well, that was
yeah.
the point. That was the
What-
porn of their
Was
time.
1700s porn? I don't know. I don't think so. What do you mean? No. Did they have like nudity in the Sistine Chapel? Like they used to draw like that. Like Leonardo da Vinci drew nudity.
Yeah,
like,
Michelangelo,
freaking
yeah.
Michelangelo. Michelangelo's David. Like, he was nude. I saw his penis in real life. It was very small. Mark for $5 says, y'all remember in the 90s when 3D pictures, you looked into all those dots and squiggles to see the design in the center? Remember those? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
I hated them because I could never see it. I was like Mr. Pitt in Seinfeld. I can't see.
Yeah, I think it took me a little while to fit. Once I understood the technique, how to do it.
Yeah,
then I
it
was
took me a
like,
bit.
"Oh,
It took
wow."
me a minute to learn the technique too. I love when Mr. Pitt like freaking smashed that painting because he couldn't see it anymore. He's like, "That's it." Like,
the funny thing is, like, you can't. The trick is you can't look too hard, right?
mhm.
Like you almost have to like
You have to, like-
relax your eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to kind of like look at it from your peripheral, kind of like it's weird. You have to like not look at it directly. You have to like zoom out. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a really weird technique to be
Yeah.
able to do it right.
Does it work online if you're looking at something online? I don't know if I've ever
Oh,
tried
I don't
that.
know. I don't know if I've seen online. I mean, I've seen those weird online stuff that sometimes they post on Twitter where it's like, what do you see? And it's like some people see some
yeah.
things and some people see other things. Like I've seen those things. I think those things are interesting. Vayutis, thank you so much for the $2. Says maybe pull up Charlie Snowgans. He's one of a kind. Okay, let's see. Charlie Snowgans. Okay. Wait, I don't think I spelled it right. Snowgans. Charlie Snowgans. I'm only getting like manga. Is he a manga artist? I'm confused. Okay, hold on. Let's see. If this is him, I mean, his art is great. Let's see. That looks cool. Very detailed.
Yeah.
He can.
He's
do
almost.
anything.
Yeah, he's like. He's almost. Well, it's like. He's capturing like a wide angle lens, the way it's distorted,
Yeah.
like the table, and you can kind of see it all Yeah,
See,
it's
this
pretty
is
cool.
art to me though. Like I could look at this. There's so many things to see here. You know, like there's a tiger, there's this dude, there's an umbrella here for some reason. Like there's this chick, she's holding the umbrella. Like there's just so many things going on in this image that I could just like stare at for hours. Whereas in the other stuff, I'm like, what the is that? Like, it's a freaking like this is a work of art. Like that's amazing what this guy's drawn. I love it. I love detailed art. This is up my alley. I'm like, yes, this is great. Let me see. Thanks for sharing that, Charlie Snowgans. He sounds cool. Wait, I think he's I just saw his Twitter account. I'm gonna follow him because he's cool. Thanks for the suggestion. All right. 200 Watt Studios for $2 says Salvador Dali is where it's at. Wait, who's that?
Salvador Dali. He's a
Yeah.
surrealist. Yeah, that's another. Forgot to mention surrealism.
I'm just bad with names. If I've seen, oh yeah. That guy with the clock thingies, the melty clocks, and the screaming person. I'm so bad with names. This is I love his paintings because these things have meaning. Like there's art. This is art. I love this kind of stuff. This is great.
I mean, I think art's subjective, and I think that's the tricky thing of it. Like sometimes, like, does art necessarily have to say anything? Does there have to be a message?
Yes.
I would disagree.
You think scribbles are fine as art to sell for $75 million? I disagree. With that.
We could argue with the price, you know, but I think there's a lot more that goes into it. But if my kid does scribbles, that's art.
I mean, yes, because that's your kid.
I don't say that that's not art.
Yeah, of course, but you're not selling that art for like $10 million.
Yeah, but if you're if you're a 40-year-old and you're somebody who's doing it, and like that again, there's a certain level of novelty to it. I'm not saying that I'm not saying I think it's high art, and I'm not saying I think it's worth that price, but I don't necessarily discount it as art because it is some form of expression, you know.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but like if my kid drew scribbles, I'd be like, okay, that's great, that's great art. But if my kid grew up and at 20 still drew scribbles, I'd be like, nah, bro, like go back. You gotta go back to the start. You're not 5 anymore.
Maybe he's connecting with his inner child, Nina. And maybe that's part of the story behind it, or the idea of it, you know.
No.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Art, it's also a lot how you sell it, you know, and really you're selling the artist is just as important as the art a lot of times. Like you look at Salvador Dali, this guy's got like this mustache like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this guy is.
I mean, he's definitely an artist. He's very eccentric.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I think a lot of artists, again, there's a lot of great artists out there. It's tough to make it. Like
the term starving artist comes to mind.
Yeah, but there's no doubt, like, yeah, this guy you're not going to find another Salvador Dali.
No, you're not.
That's the point, you know. If you're going to be an artist that makes it, you really have to be a one of a kind, you know, with a one of a kind style.
Like somebody made this, like he didn't draw this. I'm just painting. I'm just putting photos. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Really. Oh, look at this. What a nice picture. Oh,
Van Gogh style. I mean, that's a one of a kind style.
See, yeah, like Van Gogh is like my favorite. I love him. And the other guy too. The guy that painted Venus. God, what is that? What is his name? Bartolini? Shit. I don't know his name. Hold on. I'll figure it out. it starts with a B. Botticelli. Sandro
Botticelli.
Botticelli. Yeah, that's right. Like I think he's like, oh God, like his paintings are so beautiful. I saw this thing too. That was the thing. Like I saw this thing in real life. Like when you see the Venus in real life, it's like it's one of the most beautiful paintings that you've ever seen. It's just like it's such a work of art. And then compare that to like, because it's massive, John. It's like a
Yeah.
massive wall. And you compare that with like the Mona Lisa, which is like this thing. And you're like, okay, yeah, like this dude.
I think it's bigger. It's bigger than that, right? Well, you're saying in comparison to the
It
wall.
It in comparison, it's a massive painting. It's like a huge painting. It's not a little one. It's not like
Right.
a monitor size. It's massive. It's like, you know, two of me. That's
Yeah.
how big it is. It's like a very big painting.
Well, that's the thing too, where like the size of an artwork is when you go into a museum, which is I enjoy, you know, it's pretty cool going to like we've got a really good art museum here. I don't go enough, but the Detroit Institute of Art, I think it was actually ranked. I mean, it's up there. It's within the top. Last time I checked, it was like the top 6 in the world. But yeah, when you go in and you're just standing in front of these like massive paintings, it's pretty wild, and especially too when you're thinking about like how old they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And how much work it went into it. And like there's just so much like when you see those things, you're just like, how did he do this? Like it's like, you know, because they had to put like ladders, you know, like it's like especially when you're there where they're the murals where they're painting them on the walls and stuff like that. It's like it's so crazy.
yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. I'm just like
But
I'm looking up some of this other stuff.
It's like too, you're standing in front of like it's art, but it's also like survived history
Yeah.
where it's like this thing has been preserved, it stood the test of time, and you're standing in front of it, and it's I don't know, you start having all these kind of thoughts about you almost kind of like think you're trying to think back to like what was it like for this person during this time painting this picture. I mean, I don't have those thoughts all the time, of course, but it kind of sparks.
It always makes me think, like seeing stuff like this makes me think like this is like clearly like there's so many biblical images, you know, like that this dude's killing this dude here. Like there's so much stuff going on. This guy's turning away from the murder. He's like trying to look away. This chick's like, come with me. And I don't know. There's just so many different things. There's the sheep, the herders, like all the stuff, the loot. So many. This is so cool.
Yeah.
There's so many this is what I mean. Like art has so many messages, and for me, I like art that has message. I like art that has messages.
Yeah, and sometimes the message can be very direct. But then I think some art is like subjective, almost like an ink block test. Where everybody's interpretation is going to be different. And so that becomes I think there's value in that to some degree.
Can we both agree that people who are throwing soup and shit like that on the paintings should all go to jail?
Sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great. Excellent. Excellent. Russell Halford too says they put David right under the air conditioning. I was in the pool. He had shrinkage. 2-in-1 Studio for $5 says these contemporary crap art is sold to drug cartels to launder their drug money and weapon dealers. Well, I honestly thought that that's what was going on with like Hunter Biden's paintings. Remember when he was painting those like COVID looking things?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's
it wasn't even
the
good
beauty
art.
That's the beauty of having a dad who is, the president and rich and yeah.
Have you seen Kittler's art?
Kittler?
By that I mean Hitler.
Oh, yeah, I have.
What do you think of his art?
I mean, there's nothing again, like, but maybe because I've kind of grown up a little bit It's funny because I grew up I was certainly more right-brained as a kid. I was certainly more like I was very very artsy, and I grew up doing art, and I took special classes for it, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's like the second half of my life was more kind of focused to rational thought. And so it was like I kind of evened myself out a little bit. But I still have that. I still kind of have a little bit of that background. I mean, I think it's very interesting just based on the fact that this was by Hitler, a guy who's responsible for murdering 11 million people. I mean, that's like that adds a whole nother dimension to it.
I know, isn't it crazy? Like that the guy was capable of creating
that. Yeah, I know.
art.
That's like that's something that is almost like eerie and terrifying, really.
Really,
Because I don't think he's the thing is I don't think he's bad. Well, I think Hitler's terrible. I think Hitler is horrible. His art, I think most people, if you show I'm speaking as an
you were
artist.
going like the Kanye route for a second there. I was
I'm
like, wait,
canceled.
what?
I am canceled now for sure. I'm saying as an artist, like I think what I'm saying is most people. Oh my god, that's getting clipped. Most people would look at this. Yeah, clip that. Please don't. I like.
No,
look,
no, he's just
Kanye.
joking, he's joking.
Kanye can afford it. I can't. But I think most people would look at this painting and would probably say like, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, like,
You know?
honestly, if no one knew, I think they would look at it and be like, yeah, it's all right. Like, I mean, I can see this painting being like put up in a hallway somewhere, like in a, the doctor's office or something like that.
Something
And then
like
you're like,
that,
oh,
yeah.
by the way, it's been painted by Hitler.
Yeah, that would be
You're like, wait,
like
what?
if you had a whole place full of the paintings of Hitler, like how scary would that person be?
Right?
You know?
It's like, oh my God.
Like, oh my gosh, who the hell am I dealing with? Like, what kind of insidious, insane, evil person? Like, but I was gonna say, like, I don't think his art, and he really didn't get that far in terms of art. Like, that would have been the interesting thing. What if Hitler succeeded as an artist? But there's,
I always think about that.
if some damn art teacher just
Because that's what happened, because he got rejected by the Italian, the biggest Italian art school or whatever. He got rejected. And once he got rejected, he went crazy. But had that school accepted him, I always think about that. I'm like, this is one of those other universe, like timeline things that he actually got accepted. And maybe he was like he went there and he didn't end up killing everybody. Like, I don't know. It's a really weird thing to think about. It's like one of those like, Sliders episodes or something in another universe. Like what would have happened? It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you think about like how much one person could impacted the whole world. And how many people's lives like that. That's wild to think about.
I always think like, whoever was the guy that rejected him is probably like he's the one responsible for what he did.
Well, I mean, that's not fair.
I know.
If he knew,
I know.
Mean, how tormented would you be though if you were that guy,
I
or if you were like
know.
one of the people responsible, and you're like, oh man,
It's
maybe I should have been a little bit nicer or encouraging or whatever.
It's such a bizarre line of thought. Like I always trip out when I think about stuff like that. It's like, it's just, I just trip myself out. I'm like, there's so many things, like the reality could have been so different if we had, if only this.
Some of us might not have been born though, right? Like
I know, yeah.
It would have tripped up things
The
so
butterfly
much.
effect. You don't understand what's going to happen.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like, again, in terms of like being a little bit immersed in, having a little bit of understanding of art history and even modern art in the last century, like Hitler didn't have that it thing where it was like it didn't stand out enough,
Especially back in the day. I mean, there was so many more better artists than him.
Yeah, it's competitive. And in terms of like, pristine skill, like I like with that painting, it's somewhere in between where it's not impressionistic, but it's not necessarily capturing reality, but it's not putting a spin on things like Van Gogh did.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, it feels a little bit, I don't want to say amateurish, but there's a certain, he's not bad, but he's certainly not standing out above the crowd.
I just died because 200 Watt Studio says that painting is
saw
called
that.
Anne Frank Scamp.
That's-
I hate you. You're a terrible person in the best way.
I wonder how much his art is worth.
A lot.
Like, is there a
It's
market for
worth.
Hitler's art?
I think so. Yeah, you can look it up. A bunch of people bought them for like a lot of money.
That's weird.
200 Watt Studios for $5 says John. When I lived in West, oh my
Oh,
god,
fellow Michigander.
oh my god, I scratched myself so hard that I'm
Oh
bleeding.
my gosh, Nino. What?
Whoops.
Dang.
Oh no.
Your nails must be.
My nails are actually really short right
Wait,
now.
did you just scratch them with your nails or?
Yeah, I just scratched my foot because I had a mosquito bite and now I have blood all over my hands. Excuse me, I have to go.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Okay. 200 Watt Studios. Thank you for the $5. Says John. When I lived in West Bloomfield, we went to an art museum in Birmingham where they had a ceramic frog on a chair. It was called Frog on a Chair. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be the first to say, like, the art community and that whole thing is like, it's its own animal, and I get, and it is weird. Like, it's odd, it's it can be odd what people find to be art, and it's definitely its own niche, like kind of like fashion designers too, with the kind of bizarre stuff that they come up with. Like, it's almost like they're so entrenched in the world and in the thing that it just becomes like bizarre and weird, like beyond normality, right? Beyond what we accept as normality, and understandably so. I'm trying to figure out frog on a chair. Don't know if I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I guess it's okay. Yeah, I'm actually not seeing it. Maybe it's not that. It's probably not that popular. Maybe I'm missing it. But yeah, I mean, plus two, like being around like artists, especially in like my high school days, they are by nature like the out, and I was kind of part of that group too, just kind of the outcast of high school or school. And
Hi, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I'm telling Nita, oh, you're fine on your own show.
I'm good.
But yeah, I mean, it's you'll find the most, like, you really will like find the most interesting people in the, like, the artists tend to be that. And well,
are you talking about the super chat?
Well, yeah, it was kind of connected. I tried to find this work of art that 200 Watt Studio was talking about, but I kind of started talking about my experience in high school, being an artist and being around other artists.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, but I mean, artists are just wired, like, they're wired differently, they're.
I always loved the Ninja Turtles for that, because these were all like my favorite artists growing up, and that's one of the reasons I like the Ninja Turtles. I was like, they're artists.
Renaissance. Yeah.
Russell Hall for $5 says the idea that Hitler, why am I even fucking censoring his name anymore? The idea that Hitler became a despotic autocrat because art school rejected him is 100% bullshit. People gravitate to simple narratives and easy explanation. Obviously, Russell, come on. You're just,
yeah, no, I mean, that's
on.
Yeah, that's a very,
it's
a very easy act. But I will say, like, everything kind of affects everything. There's a ripple effect
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
you know, so it's not typically the one thing. Like it's not that art school rejected him, but there was other things that happened before that.
Yeah, I mean,
And again, this
dude, the
is
guy
not-
was in World War One, and then he had the mustard gas experience. Like, there's a lot. Okay, like it's not, he has. There's a lot to do with that dude's life. Like it was it's just a fun idea to think about. Like, have you ever seen? There's an episode of, I don't know if you ever watched Outer Limits, Russell Hall, but there's an episode, a really good episode of Outer Limits about when the dude goes back in time to kill Hitler. It's a great one. Like I just, whenever I like think about stuff like that, I think about like alternate realities and things like that because of this. It's just a fun idea to speculate. Obviously, there's no weight to it. I don't think it had anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Like,
But I agree with you, Russell. Like we do tend to. Well, what's it called? Well, Occam's razor. You know, the idea of like the simplest explanation is the right one.
yeah.
And sometimes probably very rarely that's the case, but it can be, but yeah, in this case, I mean, I agree with you. It's certainly not the one thing.
No, it's definitely not. Somebody posted something interesting in the Rumble thing. I was just like, wait, what? So, but speaking of painters, did you know that there's a new movie coming out about Bob Ross?
With Owen Wilson?
Yeah, starring Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Did you see Wes Anderson's
New trailer?
Sorry,
I
ADD.
died. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm still watching this.
Asteroid City. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah, it could be fun. Could be good.
When's that?
I just feel like, do you think this is a good casting?
I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, who else would have been good or better? I'm okay with it. What do you think?
I'm okay with it too. Like, I don't hate it, but I also think
But you don't love it.
I don't love it because I think Owen Wilson is too funny, and I don't think Bob Ross is like that funny. Like, he's not a funny
He's
guy.
not
and his story's
intentionally
not
funny.
Yeah.
He's a character.
He's a character, yeah, but I don't know. It would depend. It would depend on his performance, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if he wins me over, then I'll be down. But if he's gonna be like, Owen Wilson, then I don't know if
Right.
I'm gonna love it.
That's the thing. That would not impress me whatsoever. But if he
No.
could actually, I don't want to even use the word channel Bob Ross. That seems weird. But
I
if
know.
if he could present, I'm interested to see how much work he actually put into like researching and trying
Is
to do
it
that.
satirical? I don't know. I don't know if it is. Like, I can't figure that out.
It looks like it might be.
And again,
but
I don't know if I'm down with a satirical Bob Ross movie because I like Bob Ross a lot, and I think he needs like his own, like a real biopic before he gets a satirical one. Oh, is it? I don't know if I'm up for that.
Well, is it really a Bob Ross? Like, is Owen Wilson even playing Bob Ross, or is it somebody that resembles Bob Ross?
Let's watch this trailer and
'Cause
find out.
I think I watched.
200
I've
Watt
seen it.
Studio. Bob Ross wasn't funny. He was sincere.
Sincere.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
He was. I love Bob Ross. And we're gonna paint a happy little tree. I freaking grew up on that guy, man.
Do you remember
He's
the
safe.
Deadpool trailer? To the
Mm.
second movie where he did an imitation of that.
I think
of
so.
Bob Ross. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
That
actually.
was funny. Let's see. I'll cut this out.
It's hard not to feel a little lost as we begin. Just take it all in. When's the last time you heard someone say something that interesting? There's nothing like having the one you hold dearest nearest when the world turns cold. Thanks for going to a special place with me, Carl Dargle. I'm always moving forward, just on to the
See,
next.
it's like it's Owen Wilson.
Bring out the
It's
worst.
Owen Wilson's Bob Ross. I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
How is everything? It's good. Good thing.
Hi, friends, and welcome to Paint with Ambrosia.
It takes paint to a whole new place.
You're entitled to your favorite TV show. It's what makes this country great. You want to touch my sandals?
Oh, Carl.
Wait, who's directing this?
What did she say? Did she say Carl?
Yeah.
That's why, like, his name is Bob Ross, right?
Yes.
So
I don't
is
get
it a
it.
movie loosely based on the idea of Bob Ross? That's what I'm wondering. You know, I don't know if it's a straight up biopic.
That's a good question. I don't think it is either. I'm like looking it up now.
Which I wonder how that works if you. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Like in some
It
cases,
says Owen Wilson embodies Bob Ross in the new trailer for Paint. No, I don't think he did. But that's I don't know. I'm just not down.
it could be. It's tough to say from the trailer. Could be good. Could be not.
It could be good. It could be not. So you saw that Wes Anderson trailer too?
Yeah. But did you see the last Wes Anderson movie?
I tried because I love him.
You didn't watch the whole
I
thing.
didn't get into it. Like I couldn't get into the whole thing. I was like, it's
It wasn't-
probably the only movie that I couldn't get into. Like, because it's the first time that have been like, Wes Anderson kind of let me down on this one. But then again, I'm not really into French people or the French Dispatch. So I just didn't like, I think I just didn't really vibe with the topic. Like, I don't think it was about like necessarily the movie was bad or anything. I just don't care about journalists or French people.
Yeah, and it was it's an ensemble, and it's not one story throughout the entire movie. It was like separated into 4 separate stories, I think.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I I thought Budapest Motel was
way better.
Grand Budapest. Yeah, like that's probably
Far superior to that
yeah,
one.
that's probably his pinnacle, I think. But yeah, I don't think I wasn't the biggest fan of French Dispatch. It was
Did you watch the whole
I
thing?
enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like it was a good change of pace for me, considering the other movies that I've been watching. But yeah, and I'm not really even sure with this movie. It's like we'll see. But it looks
What is this
interesting.
one called again?
Asteroid City.
I'm gonna look it up so we can watch the trailer.
But that's the thing about Wes Anderson. Like there's nobody like him.
There's nobody like him. You know what? You know what's so funny is I shared that trailer today, and somebody commented, "I really like Wes Anderson, but I really wish he would stop. Like he would step away from doing Wes Anderson-y like movies." And I was like, then he wouldn't be Wes Anderson. It's like why would you
why
watch?
do you go to see a Wes Anderson movie?
Yeah, like, or why would you watch a Wes Anderson movie if it's not a Wes Anderson movie? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go watch like Wes Anderson Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Well, if
it's
he
gonna
did his
be
own
weird.
spin on something like Star Wars, but his own thing, that's
His
totally
own thing, yes,
different.
But
yeah, but if he's
if it's
directing it
like-
like George Lucas, it's like no, you
I'd be
want to
like,
see Wes
no.
Anderson do a Wes Anderson movie.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's like I don't.
It's like
see the
Kubrick, right?
point.
Like Kubrick is so when you see a Stanley Kubrick movie,
Mhm.
I mean it's him. Like you know, especially once his style was like cemented at some point, it's like you're watching a Stanley Kubrick film.
Yeah, it's just bizarre to me that somebody would be like, "Oh, I like Wes Anderson, but I wish you would stop making movies like Wes Anderson." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like,
yeah, I'm not.
okay, like that's such a weird want, but okay. But this is the new movie. I'm actually really excited for this one.
You're not here.
We're not there. The car exploded. Come get the girls. I have to stay here with Woodrow.
I'm not the chauffeur. I'm the grandfather. Where are you?
Asteroid City, Farm Route 6, mile 75.
Look at this. Look at this color palette too.
I was just gonna say, like, the color palette is so
Hey.
amazing. Like, it's already just like, I mean, it's so Wes Anderson. Like,
Yeah.
it's so bright and colorful, and just like everything pops. Everything is there. It's so great.
And the future. He always uses his Futura font too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he does.
Stargazers and space cadets. Each year we celebrate Asteroid Day, commemorating September 23rd, 3007 BC,
There's
when
Steve
the
Carell.
asteroid
Bro.
made Earth impact.
Holy Toledo, that's Mitch Campbell. You're very good in the one about the tramp in the brothel who gets amnesia and becomes a pediatrician. You were very
Actually, maybe my favorite character ever.
I don't know why nobody else liked it.
Oh.
What do those pulses indicate?
What? Oh, the beeps and blips? We don't know.
Some of our information about outer space may no longer be completely accurate. Anyway, there's still only 9 planets in the solar system as far as we know. Billy?
Except now there's an alien.
What's happening now?
I don't know. I don't like the way that guy looked at us. The alien.
How did he look?
Like we're doomed.
Maybe we are.
I've just informed the president.
How long can they keep us in Asteroid City legally?
The world will never be the same.
That's
The lockdown.
Jax. That's an alien in a top hat.
What's out there? The meaning of life. Maybe there is one.
Are you
Kind of like
We'll work
WandaVision,
on But don't
but
tell my
like
kids.
not really.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Let's say she's in heaven, which doesn't exist for me, of course, but you're Episcopalian.
In my loneliness, I've learned to give
God, I can't
complete
stand
and
Tom Hanks
unquestioning
anymore.
faith to the people
Yeah.
I love. I don't know if that includes you, but it included my daughter and your 4
Like,
children.
It's so weird because I kind of wish that instead of Tom Hanks, it was Bill Murray.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
I'm
too.
like, why didn't you do Bill Murray? Like,
Yeah. He's in nearly every Wes Anderson movie.
yeah. And I really wish it was Bill Murray instead of Tom Hanks. I don't know. I have about Tom Hanks now. Every time.
Yeah.
I
There's
see him,
certain
it's like-
artists like that. You know, once you get yeah.
Yeah. He's got a bad rep now.
Yeah.
Children.
Sometimes I think I feel more at home outside the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, wow. Me too. They're strange, aren't they? They're children. Compared to normal people.
Yes, that's correct.
It's true.
Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast.
Willem Dafoe is in it.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy cast. Matt Dillon too.
He always has the
Huh? Did I
best
say yes?
cast.
He didn't
Yeah.
say anything.
I meant yes. My mouth didn't speak.
I've been a fan since Rushmore, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. That
I
was the first
freaking-
film I saw. by him.
Same. I freaking love him. He's so good. 200 Watt Studios for $5 says Bob Ross was a medic in the Air Force for 20 years where he became a master sergeant. Definitely not Owen Wilson, F Hollywood. Oh man. See, that's what I mean. Like I would have liked to see an actual Bob Ross movie. Like can
Yeah.
we get that before we get like a funny version? Like why does it
I
have
don't-
to be like this?
I don't think this is. I don't think it's like it looks like Bob Ross, but I don't think it's actually. I don't. Maybe I should just look into this before I actually say
Yeah.
anything. But she called when she said his name, it wasn't Bob. So unless maybe that was the name of his that he went by in the show.
I couldn't get into the French Dispatch. You know what? I'm gonna have to try again. I think maybe it was just the timing for me in my life or something at the time when I tried to watch it. I'm gonna have to try watching it again because a lot of people have told me it's amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I thought
I
it
just didn't
deserved
get into
more recognition than I got, but I get it. It's definitely different from going from if you watch Grand Budapest Motel and some of his other movies. Like it's a
I watch
different,
everyone.
a little different.
My favorite one is Moonrise Kingdom. I just love that movie so much.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh man, I'm so sad about what's happened to Bruce Willis. Poor guy. By the way, this was what I was talking about earlier.
Oh, there is a Bob Ross. I think
Like an
Bob
actual
Ross
biopic.
Happy Accidents, Betrayal and Greed. Is this it's on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a documentary, but it's
Maybe.
called Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed.
Oh. I'll have to check that out. This was the other thing I was talking about earlier. So Musk demand AI pause. More than 1,100 professionals agree that the race between researchers possess profound risk to society and humanity. Wow, it's like he's starting to come around. More than 1,100 AI researchers, tech luminaries, and other futurists have signed an open letter demanding that 6 months what is this word?
Moratorium.
Thank you. On giant AI experiments. Since the text was posted by the nonprofit Future of Life Institute last week, notable signatories of the letter include Tesla's CEO Elon Musk, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, and transhumanist historian Yuval Noah Harari. The correspondent warns that AI systems with human competitive intelligence can pose profound risks to society and humanity. It also insists that rapidly advancing technology should be planned for and managed with commensurate care and resources rather than allowing an out-of-control race to develop and deploy ever more powerful digital minds that no one, not even their creators, can understand, predict, or reliably control. No shit, Elon Musk. No
Plot twist.
shit.
Elon's using this time to develop his own AI. Dun, dun,
You know what's
I'm kidding.
happening. That's the neural. That's the neural
Neuralink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that is.
I think they've maybe this is, maybe this is a little bit of like learning from even the internet explosion.
Yeah.
That we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, maybe we should plot a little bit more carefully before we,
Maybe
unleash
we should think
Frankenstein.
about this.
Yeah.
They're like maybe we should really reconsider some things. Rather than risk losing control of a potentially civilized ending technology, stakeholders in the AI field should jointly develop and implement a set of shared safety protocols for advanced AI design and development that are rigorously audited and overseen by independent outside experts. The Institute suggests pausing the development until those protocols are in place. Safety beyond a reasonable doubt rather than innovation at all costs should be the goal, it said. Powerful AI systems should be developed only once we are confident that their effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable, the letter continues. While the developers should refocus their energies on making today's powerful state-of-the-art systems more accurate, safe, interpretable, transparent, robust, aligned, trustworthy, and loyal. Isn't that so funny?
Yeah.
There's also another thing that Elon Musk was in the news about with regards to AI, and that is his ongoing feud with Bill Gates. Elon Musk takes a shot at Bill Gates' and ongoing feud, saying that the Microsoft co-founder's understanding of AI is limited. And I thought that was funny because he's just basically calling him a retard. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates and Tesla Twitter CEO Elon Musk have never been the best of buddies. In fact, they've butted heads on some of the biggest issues facing humanity. The tech tycoons clashed on the subject like the pandemic and climate change, but now the SpaceX founder has taken a swing at the philanthropist Gates' open letter on artificial intelligence. Gates published a 7-page essay on his website a week ago about why AI is so revolutionary, covering topics such as how the technology will transform healthcare and education, as well as highlighting some risks and pitfalls creators and public need to be aware of. It seems that Musk, who recently held the title of richest person on Earth, once held by Gates, was unimpressed, responding with a tweet about Gates' 3,639 word essay titled "The Age of AI Has Begun." Musk wrote, "I remember the nearly meeting with Gates. His understanding of AI was limited and still
is. Boom. Shots
Ouch.
fired.
Yikes. Wait, is this? Wait, who's the most richest person on Earth now?
Is it Gates again? I don't know.
thought
I know
Musk was the
Elon
richest
and
person on Earth.
or no, Bezos is Bezos. I thought he was, but I don't know if Tesla's stock took a hit. I'm not sure why
Let's
that
see.
was.
Google it. Who's the richest man on Earth? Bezos.
Okay.
Top 10. Wait. Top 10 richest people. Jeff Bezos' net worth. That's top 10. Who's number 1? Oh, real-time billionaires. So, wait. Bernard something? Bernard Arnold is the richest man on Earth right now. Somebody I've never even heard of. Oh, no, wait. Never mind. Bezos and Elon are at $3 billion each. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Okay. Let me get our last topic and then we can call it. Our last topic is what you sent me.
And I'm trying to remember what was that.
The world's happiest
Oh, okay.
countries in 2023.
I thought the funny thing was I thought Infinite Talk was going to be the week before. I was
Oh my
off.
God.
So I sat there like right before, that previous Wednesday.
The episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting to me because I don't believe this map at all. Did you? Because I was like, what?
No, I
Because
think
it says Canada's at 7.0 and there's no way in hell that Canada's happy. Okay. First
Well,
of all, it's way too
okay,
freaking
yeah.
cold there. Okay. Second of all, I mean Trudeau. Like, can I say anything more about that? I think
it
this
seems
map
like
is propaganda.
there's a lot of Canadians that are okay with Trudeau though, too.
I mean, that's true, but
Drinking, drinking the Kool-Aid and same here with Biden, man. Some Americans are, I don't know what they're drinking, but
Australia is 7.1. Everything kills you there. Also, they hate their government. See, Darren's Canadian. Nope. Canada. Nope.
yeah. Well, if he's listening to our show, of course.
That's true. That's true. But richest is Putin? What? Yeah, I don't think so, guys. I think you're right about. I think I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, no, here's the thing with something like this, it's not going to be 100% accurate. There's just no way. Like if they,
obviously,
it depends on the demographics that they're looking at. Like obviously the numbers
or
can be
Afghanistan. 1.9.
So is it? Well, that does seem to be believable, right?
Yeah, I kind of
Given
believe it. I feel
everything,
bad for them. Compared to Afghanistan, Iran is 4.9. Like that's wow.
It's not that happy, but I guess it's.
It's happier than Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, Afghanistan's
1.9.
They're in bad shape. We kind of left. We didn't leave them in the best of circumstances either.
Yeah, Putin is not a billionaire. I agree. Thank you, Russell Hall. The voice of reason tonight.
He's been in power for quite some time.
Yeah, but he's not a billionaire. That's unbelievable.
His country's really big though. They bought a lot of gold and silver.
Yeah, but he's not a billionaire. He doesn't
He
get
could have
the money.
He could have invested himself.
Maybe, but I don't think so. USA 6.9. I don't know about that.
It's tough to say like what's the metrics, that they're going, like how do you define happiness? It's funny, I actually just recently did a survey on happiness and I totally forgot about this. But yeah, I guess apparently Canada is more happy than the US.
Yeah, by
according to this.
Yeah, by 0.1. 6.3 in Mexico. Okay, see, I could see that because most people in Mexico are kind of happy. Like they're not that like they don't hate their lives all that much. The drug cartels are a little bit of a problem, but for the most part, they're happy people. Like even the very poor people here are happy. Like they're not upset. As long as they got their beer, as long as they got, their tequila, as long as they can hang out and have some fun at the end of the week, they're really happy people. They're not for much. Like they don't, not much makes them happy. So they're like they're very grounded people, Mexican people.
They're not covetous and
Yeah. Like they're very simple. Like it's just
Yeah.
like as long as you have like your belly's full and you have access to your beer, like they're fine. You take the beer away though, and you'll have
you could have some problems.
That's actually kind of what happened here in the lockdowns. They tried to shut down the Corona factory here. Well, they did shut down the Corona factory, but the Mexican people weren't having it.
During Corona.
Yeah, during
Yeah,
Corona,
right.
they shut down the Corona.
That's when the people were going to revolt.
They were. They
know?
were very mad. They were very upset about it. These numbers are propaganda, period, Darren. I agree. I think they are too. Because I'm like, there's no way in hell.
I mean,
that-
I just think it's probably not. It's just not an accurate study. I don't know if it's outright it could be. I mean, I'm not gonna dismiss that idea either.
I mean,
Depends on- I wonder
just
who-
don't
I
think
wonder who did it,
Australia is
you know?
7.1. I feel like that's fucking exaggerated. Like, there's no way. I mean, I don't know.
Guess we could ask Raging Rhino what he thinks.
Italy 6.4. I mean, I could see that. Sure. This is funny to me though because it said like the
I wonder what are the what were the questions asked? Like, was it just are you happy? You know,
I would like to know that too. Like, what is the qualifications of being happy? Russell Hall for 5 says, read some of the articles about Putin's secret wealth and fact check them. All the properties they list as his belong to other billionaires. I've read some interesting things about him. It's very interesting, Russell. Yeah. I've read that stuff too.
So
Very interesting.
Finland and Denmark. I mean, I could see those countries being happy. I mean, they're pretty.
Iceland.
Yeah, they're pretty well off economically.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sweden never shut down. I mean, I could see that.
Yeah.
7.4. People are happy. Norway 7.3. I could see
Yeah,
that.
all of the in that area, Norway, Sweden, Netherlands, they're all
All of these,
relatively
yeah.
close together.
The
too.
only one that I question in all of these is Israel.
That's interesting considering. Well, I don't know. Have they had any seems like there was. I haven't been keeping up with the news, but it seems like there's always something going on.
Well, there's definitely something going on right now. They're definitely not happy there right now. Like just literally a couple of days ago, there was one of the most massive protests ever in all of Israel was happening. So it's just I don't believe the Israel one. Considering the whole thing that's going on with Palestine, I don't know. Maybe it could be that maybe Israeli people are very happy. I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't know though, but maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like maybe this could be I don't know, maybe in reality, I would say maybe a 5.
Wow. Okay.
I think.
Yeah. No. It is. It's interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
But
yeah,
these
some of
ones,
those other countries,
I could see the other ones.
Yeah.
I could see all of these ones. I'm like, yeah, I check. New Zealand, though, no.
Why not?
Because their government is shit.
The Lord of the Rings films were made there, Nina. How could you not be happy living in the same area that the Lord of the Rings were made?
I don't know. I feel like that their government's
Shitting, of
shit. I feel like maybe this is kind of exaggerating.
Well, aren't they?
I don't
Aren't
know.
they kind of around Norway and Sweden and all those other countries? They're kind of right in that territory, right?
New Zealand?
I thought so, but then I'm not a geography expert either.
New Zealand's not there, is it? Let's see. Oops, I went to images. Oh, yeah. New Zealand was a little island by Australia.
Oh, you probably, yeah, actually you're
This
right.
is it. 7.51. It's not.
Okay. Yeah, hence I am not a geography expert.
Goddamn, John. You made me doubt myself because I was like, I don't think New Zealand's in Europe.
Yeah, no, it was right on the
was
it was
like-
right on the damn map, like right there, Australia and New Zealand. Yeah.
You made me doubt. Okay. Let's see what else.
Michigan.
North America. I have no one to blame but myself. South America. We got Brazil over here. 6.1. Venezuela 5.2. They're starving over there. How is that true? 5.2? I don't know about that. I feel like that should be 3. Push-ups 2, 3, 4, 5 for 2 says, God bless the U.S. military. I'm serious. There you go. Thank you
Yeah.
for your service if you've served.
They need it, yeah.
Brazil 6.1. I mean,
That's
yeah, I
the
can see
thing too.
that.
It's like in terms of like what social economic demographic are you asking? Like which people that's gonna make a big difference, right? In terms of like who's happy and who's not.
Ukraine is happier than most of Africa. This is terrible.
That's sad.
This is terrible. Ukraine has like it's not even a happy face. It's like you know what? You know how this will become happy if the United States give them even more money.
No, that'd
And
be
now then
Zelensky.
they'll become like Finland. See this? This is
Yeah.
the future. This is the future of the Ukraine's happy face. Just like Israel. They just want a little bit more money. They're not impressed with the money they have right now. They're not impressed.
Well, here's the interesting idea of it too. Like if you ask people, like, oh, we're doing a survey on the world's happiest countries. How
Mm-hmm.
would you rate yourself? So now the baseline is in terms of the world. You know, people are thinking about their happiness compared to other people in the world. You know, I don't know if that was the question that was asked.
Sure.
Or if it was just simply like, how happy are you? Period. Because then you start comparing yourself to other people. And it's really funny how like the context of that question really matters.
It says here, despite the invasion's obvious negative impact on happiness, Ukrainians reported a stronger sense of common purpose, benevolence, and trust in leadership. This is a fucking
Yeah.
propaganda piece.
I don't know. Some people, I mean,
Oh my god.
yeah, I mean, that sounds a little bit much.
That sounds fucked.
But I mean, but Nina, I mean, look at the US. People trust the government here.
That's true.
You know, I
do.
mean, that's
Let's see
so
what it says
it's
about
so
the United
bizarre to me.
States. Hold on. It says about Canada. It says, while Canada moved up 2 spots from last year's global happiness rankings, the country's score actually dropped slightly from 7.03 to 6.96. Ouch. Wait. The recent crackdown on crime in El Salvador could lead to increased safety and stability for its citizens. Contribution to improved life satisfaction. That's for El Salvador. This is the dominant. It doesn't say anything about the United States. Let's see. The happiest country in the region is Canada, slightly beating it in the United States. However, the scores of both countries have actually decreased in the last year. It's difficult to pinpoint why the citizens feel less satisfied.
I wonder.
But the inflation, economic uncertainty, and many other factors could play a role.
They could play a role. We don't know for sure.
But
We're taking a big leap here. But
let's
they
not
could,
forget.
maybe, might. They
Let's
just
not-
might. Like, what the fuck?
Let's
You know,
not forget the constant hounding of their fucking politicians calling those MAGA Republicans and the constant division, provided by the media and their president. But hey,
Well, I mean, inflation and economic uncertainty is enough. You know, like it's like, why would that be such a like it might be. It's like, come on, you know, people once people start feeling the squeeze on their wallets and their pocketbooks, like, yeah,
Oh
of
my God.
course.
This one's making like this one had I have tears in my eyes from this sentence. This is the funniest thing I've ever read. It's difficult to pinpoint why the citizens feel satisfied, but oh my God. The only countries to see improvement in North America was Nicaragua and Jamaica. Although a more recent development, many Jamaicans could be experiencing more happiness in the near future. With the recent announcement of plans to increase the minimum wage by 44%. Wow,
Dang. I wonder
that's
how
a
that's
big
going to affect
increase.
their economy,
That sounds kind of fucked up.
because that's going to impact, you know, there's going to be inflation, I think, due to that. But
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, anyways.
yeah. Oh, I've got okay, Nina.
Hmm.
I did a survey on happiness.
Okay.
Since we're talking about it, what is happiness? If you had to pick one, a feeling, an attitude, a practice, a choice, or just a made up idea?
What was it? A feeling, an attitude. Okay. A practice, a choice, or made up idea. I think
And
for
chat,
me
feel
it
free
would
to
be like,
chime in.
yeah, chime in on this one. I don't know. I feel like for me, happiness is like definitely a feeling, but also it's a practice and a choice, because I mean, I'm somebody who's fought depression, so I had to make a choice to be happy. Like I had to make that choice. If you don't make that choice, then you're just, well, you're not gonna be alive for much longer. There's just certain things that you have to. I definitely don't think it's a made up idea, though. Like
Yeah,
happiness
no, I mean, I think happiness is a real thing.
depends on the day.
Yeah.
All of the above, says Douglas.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like, if you had to pick one, where, you know, I feel like a lot of people, if, you know, you kind of get like, basically the other last option would have been to all of the above, but that, you know, that kind of, I feel like people could read through that list and just pick that one.
You know,
But
this is a good sleep. You know, that's a lot of people. Like for a lot of people, it goes as much as getting some good sleep. Like a lot of moms. You know, try and be a parent or a single parent and have a
Yeah.
baby, and then you know, not be able to sleep at all.
yeah, you're
God,
not gonna, how
like
happy can you be, right?
getting 8 hours would probably be a freaking, you know, amazing thing.
Yeah.
I was just reading Russell Hall's interactions in the chat have been very interesting tonight. I feel you, Russell Hall. I feel you.
Yeah, but I guess I the last one, a made up idea, like if you kind of take, if you take like this idea that, you know, we kind of just put, through language, we put titles on things. You know, I was kind of getting a little more abstract with things, but you know, it's just kind of a little bit more of an interesting way to think about it, but how we attribute, and don't get me wrong, like there are feelings of sadness that we have, you know, people have depression, it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of it is, you know, obviously comparing with other people, comparing, you know, we feel like we have less, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some form of measurement going on there probably. And it really is like a lot of times through these ideas of defining and language, you know, or quantifying, you know, whatever you know, math or language, that we feel a sense of like less than or more than. And so like, in a way, you know, even though like again, I don't think it's a made up idea. I think happiness is real, but I do think
I think your attitude really counts.
sometimes the way we define it, is expectations. I think play a big part in it as well.
I think like option 2 and 3 kind of like merge though. Like attitude and
They're very-
practice are very similar. 'Cause you
Yeah.
have to have that attitude. Like you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, or like I'm not going to be upset today. I'm going to have a different attitude towards this.
Right.
Or trying to
So
choose
you would say-
to
you would
look at the
say
cup half full.
an
You know?
An attitude is more of a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
I would agree.
I think so. I mean, that's my whole point, like about my show when I do Infinite Hope. Like, that's the entire point of the show is to try and look at the cup half full, because that's a a lot of people can't do that. Like, it's a practice. It's something you have to practice to be grateful, to do that, to make that choice, to be happy and not be upset, and to that's one of the things, like getting over grief, for example. A lot of people fall into that whole like when you're trying to get over someone's death or whatever, like it goes a long way to make a choice of not grieving anymore. Like, at one point you're going to have to stop because they're gone, and no matter what you do, they're not going to come back. So you have to come to that acceptance and make the choice to move on, like it's just one of those things.
Yeah. And I think feelings are the result of already like an attitude, or, maybe perhaps your practice is, or the choice. It's kind of like choice, attitude, feeling, kind of like down the line. But whatever feelings you're having, they're always a result of your thoughts, and the thoughts that you're choosing to think. And that's kind of, I think for a lot of people, that's even because I think most people tend to think that you can't control your thoughts. Maybe most would be an overstatement, but this idea that that thoughts just come and you're just like at the whims of them and you can't do anything about it. I've certainly been at points in my life, especially when I was younger, where those thoughts felt so strong, almost imprisoning, to where I did feel like a victim of them. But yeah, I think it is, if you can, the more control you have over your thoughts and the more intentional you are with your thoughts, the more you're going to be able to control your feelings. Your attitude and your feelings.
I think I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think I agree with that. Now, lastly, John, what made me happy today before we started? Something happened, which I was like, oh, this is interesting. The Senate voted to overturn the COVID-19 national emergency order. So it passed 68 to 23 votes. Now, the last step is that Biden has to sign this motherfucker. It's possible that he won't, although we've been reassured that he will. It says even though he strongly opposes it, that he's going to be signing it.
What's it, 68 to 23?
It was the vote.
Yeah.
68 to 23 vote on the measure came after the House voted 229 to 197 in February, with 11 Democrats joining the 218 Republicans in support.
Wow. Okay.
So it passed, but now it has to be signed. And it's possible that it's going to be signed. I think that it's also possible that Biden will wake up one day and be like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to do it. And then he just won't. But
his approval numbers are so dismal right now. I don't think he can afford to. It just would look really bad, especially when I think he said before he'll sign off on anything that is passed.
I don't know why Douglas Douglas. I just have an escape.
That'll be a case for unhappiness.
I know. It's like, what makes you unhappy? When I miss half a day of skiing.
Well, Kane said this: you can't just be happy; you have to do something to gain happiness. Like something external, internal has to be there. So I guess it's a feeling activated by attitude, action, and choices. Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't disagree with that whatsoever. I mean, I think it's like on the one hand, I think there's like happiness is a choice and a decision you make despite your circumstances. But also, well, with that said, I think it just takes, happiness takes work. Like it's not, it's not just something that you like. Happiness is for free, but I think it takes, it takes work too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think there's also cheap happiness though, like pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, you can enjoy like if you want to, you can enjoy simple things, and that's.
I enjoy
know.
pizza until I think about all the carbs I ate, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get fat, and then I don't enjoy it anymore. I'm like, no.
Okay, well.
1984 today over on Rumble says Biden said COVID will end in May. He saw the future and knew it would end then. Yeah, I mean, I think like that was part of the plan. I mean, that's what they've been saying for a while now that it's going to end. Hey man, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Nothing will surprise me if he signs it. I'll be like, yes, I can come to the States. If he doesn't, then I'll be like, oh wells, like
I guess COVID is making. There's actually people in this area that are getting. There's been a few cases of people saying they've got COVID. So.
Oh really?
I don't know if it's making a little bit of a comeback. I'm not sure, but
I'm pretty sure I got COVID like a couple weeks ago. I had this respiratory thing I got from my husband, and it was freaking awful. We were coughing for a while. Maybe try shrooms for happiness. I think
I'm too worried.
Pretty sure ecstasy is the happy drug.
I feel like either one of those, you could have a bad trip and.
Way more likely with shrooms than ecstasy. Ecstasy is a lot less likely to have a bad trip on. At least I think so, because ecstasy, it's chemically and releasing serotonin in your brain. So there's like it's different. They're completely different drugs. Mushrooms is hallucinogen, so it's. You're going to hallucinate. You're going to see things. There's very different things involved. Anyways, it's been a really great show. We've been going for 3 hours. Can't believe it. Time's flying. John, do you got anything you got coming up that you want to plug before we end the show?
No, it's just the same old. So yeah, subscribe.
Okay. Well, John has a channel, John Talks. It's all in the description. So make sure you're subscribed. He does funny 30-second videos usually. It's all, well, I mean, it's relative if it's funny or not, because most of it is very upsetting. And you're like, fuck, like I can't believe this is real.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. That's our world. So if you don't laugh at it, you're going to cry. So you might as well laugh at it. Just like I laugh at this mother.
For standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus kid.
You got to laugh at it. If you don't laugh at it, you're going to cry. So that's what I got to say. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to watch tonight. I'm going to be on Demogenized channel, as he said earlier, tomorrow with Mandy Summers. So definitely check out Demogenized channel. Otherwise, I will be playing Conan Exiles at some point. And I think I'm going to be on the Jack Show tomorrow on Anna's channel. Anna, that Star Wars girl.
Cool.
She invited me, so I'm going to go hang out on the Jack Show. And what else? Friday, of course, is Infinite Hope. So if you are sick of the crazy world that we live in and you just want just some balance to the force, come and hang out for Infinite Hope. And let's talk about good things, because I will always be talking about good things on Fridays. I have to. because I need it for my own happiness and mental health.
Nina's gonna be she's gonna be analyzing the paintings of Kittler.
Oh my God! Not on Infinite
Kidding.
Hope. That's for this show here.
I did see. I'll have to send you this article. There was a dog that sold a painting for $10,000.
I saw that. I
that?
thought that
Okay,
was
yeah.
really cute. You know what? The dog.
Van Gogh. He was missing an ear.
I know
yeah.
it was so cute, dude. The dog, though, I feel like did a good job. I feel like he deserved that much money because it's a dog. It's not a human.
Hey, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Thank you everybody on Rumble for watching. Rumble, you guys are fantastic, amazing. Rumble, YouTube, I love all of the chats. So thank you again. And let me just get my end theme here. You got your bell? You want to say bye to the people?
I can grab it here.
Okay. He's getting that classic goodbye bell for us.
Oh.
You okay? Did you just stub your toe?
I smashed my fingers in between my chair and my desk.
Oh,
As,
ow.
that's
You sounded like the guy that was going to what's it called? To Gwyneth Paltrow. You like grunted.
Yeah,
And I was like, who are you harassing over there?
you probably can't. I don't know. I'm not flipping off anybody. See
Everybody's-
that indentation there, right there.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Ow.
So yeah, I smashed it.
We both like have problems on the stream. I started bleeding from the leg halfway through the show. You just broke a finger. Yeah, he got Gwyneth. I totally thought that too. I was like, what the fuck? Who
I know.
right now?
I should have done it just for fun, but no, it was real.
It's
Folks.
a genuine owl.
I'm glad I wasn't on camera when I did it.
Oh my God. That's why I always turn off my camera when I leave. Because I'm like, what if
Yep.
I come back and I like sit on my chair like wrong or something? It's not gonna be pretty. So that's why I always turn that shit off. But okay, you have a fever.
And the only prescription is more cowbell. I gotta have it, baby. I gotta.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you. You too. Love you. Bye.